Hey everyone, hope you're having a fantastic day. If you're enjoying this journey with us, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that pull you right into the action. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it for you right now? Okay, picture this. You're not in your usual spot, not in your bed, not even in your own time. The year is 600 AD, and you wake up not with the gentle alarm of sunlight, but in the middle of a dense, ancient forest. One moment you're, well, wherever you were, and the next, your senses are bombarded. The first thing that hits you is the smell. It's an earthy, almost overwhelming scent of damp soil and decaying leaves, rich and fertile, mixed with something else. A musky, metallic tang that prickles the back of your throat. You feel the cold, rough ground beneath you, slick with recent rain, seeping through your clothes. A shiver runs down your spine, not just from the chill, but from an undeniable sense of wrongness. You push yourself up, your muscles protesting, stiff and uncooperative as if you've been lying there for hours. Your hands sink slightly into the muddy earth, the gritty texture clinging to your skin. The air is thick and heavy, laden with moisture, and the only sound is the insistent drip of water from unseen leaves, and a low, continuous hum of insects that feels more like a vibration in your chest than a distant buzz. Your eyes, still adjusting, make out towering trees, their thick trunks disappearing into a canopy that swallows most of the light, leaving the forest floor in an eternal twilight. Every shadow seems to deepen, to shift. You try to take a deep breath, but that metallic scent intensifies, sharp and primal. It's an odor that speaks of raw meat, of something large and powerful, something that hunts. It's a predator's breath, faint but unmistakable, carried on a gust of wind that rustles the undergrowth just out of your immediate sight. You freeze, your heart hammering against your ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the sudden, eerie silence. Your instincts scream at you to run, to hide, but your body feels sluggish, heavy. You scan the gloom, your gaze darting from one dark patch to another, convinced you see movement at the edge of your vision, a darker shadow against the already dim light. There's no knowing what lies out there, only the certainty that you are not alone, and the forest, in its vast, indifferent way, is watching. The ancient trees seem to lean in, their branches like skeletal arms, listening to the frantic rhythm of your breath. A cold knot forms in your stomach as you realize how utterly vulnerable you are, far from any path, deep in a wild that makes no allowances for you. And in that moment, disoriented and exposed, you understand that survival isn't a thought, it's a visceral, burning command, etched into every fiber of your being. It's a primitive whisper that drowns out everything else, demanding action, demanding life, right here, right now. The metallic tang of the air still lingers, but now a new, more insistent sensation pushes past it, a deep, hollow ache in your gut. It's not just discomfort, it's a gnawing, clawing emptiness that pulls at your insides, making your head feel strangely light. Your body, already stiff, now feels heavy, each movement demanding more effort than it should. The energy you had for initial panic is fading, replaced by the relentless, primal rumble of hunger. You reach out, grasping at a stout branch snapped clean from a fallen tree, its bark rough and peeling beneath your fingers. It's not much, but it has weight, a crude balance. You test it, swinging it a few times through the dense air, feeling the whoosh. It's awkward, unbalanced, but in this ancient, unforgiving world, it's all you have. A spear, of sorts. A promise to yourself that you won't just lie down and let the forest claim you. The damp earth beneath your feet still squelches with each step as you force yourself deeper, or maybe just further, into the bewildering tangle of trees. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig, makes you tense, not just for the unseen predator from before, but now for anything that might offer sustenance. Your eyes scan the undergrowth with a new intensity, no longer just for danger, but for opportunity. You're looking for movement, for a flicker of fur, a flash of feathers. Then, through a break in the heavy foliage, you spot it. A small creature, no bigger than your hand, pecking at some berries. It's quick, darting, but your hunger sharpens your focus to a pinpoint. You move slowly, carefully, each footstep deliberate, fighting against the instinct to charge, to scare it away. The cold, earthy smell of the forest is now a backdrop to the rising adrenaline, the faint scent of wild game. You raise your makeshift spear, your muscles burning from the unfamiliar strain, your breath held tight in your chest. It's a moment suspended in time. The creature oblivious, you poised, the ancient forest holding its breath around you. The branch feels unwieldy, a crude extension of your will. You take aim, an arc born of pure desperation and instinct, and let it fly. It's clumsy, far from perfect, but in that instant, a flash of brown fur, a startled squeak, and the heavy thud of the branch hitting its mark breaks the silence. A wave of exhaustion washes over you, but beneath it, a surge of raw, animalistic satisfaction. You retrieve your prize, the small, warm weight in your hand a testament to your newfound fierce capability. You look around, the twilight forest no less daunting, but you've faced it, met its demands head-on. This place isn't just a threat, it's a brutal teacher, showing you exactly what you're capable of when everything else is stripped away. And you realize that the most basic struggle, the one for survival, is also the most defining. It carves away everything unnecessary, leaving only the sharp, essential truth of who you are, what you need to do, and the lengths you will go to simply exist for another day. The sharp tang of wood smoke replaces the forest's damp earth, a welcome invasion of your senses. It's thick, carrying the scent of burning logs and something savory, something cooking over an open flame. You feel the immediate rush of heat against your skin, chasing away the pervasive chill that had become a constant companion. Your ears pick up a low murmur of voices, not a language you understand, but filled with a rhythm of ease, punctuated by soft thuds and the occasional, uninhibited burst of laughter. You step further into the rough shelter, the entrance framed by heavy animal hides. Inside, the space opens up into a large communal area, the walls a mix of roughly hewn stone and woven branches. A central hearth blazes, its orange and yellow flames dancing, casting flickering shadows that make the entire space feel alive. The air here is warmer, drier, and rich, with the aroma of roasted meat and something vaguely herbal. It's a stark contrast to the oppressive, wild silence of the forest, a vibrant cacophony of human life. You see figures gathered around the fire, their faces illuminated by the glow. Some are tending to pots suspended over the flames, stirring with large wooden spoons. Others are hunched over, sharpening crude tools, the metallic rasp echoing subtly through the air. You notice a woman, her face lined but kind, watching you with an assessing gaze, a small child clinging to her woven skirt. She offers a slight, almost imperceptible nod, a silent invitation to join the circle. You move closer to the warmth, the heat radiating through your clothes, melting away the lingering stiffness in your muscles. Someone pushes a rough-hewn log towards the edge of the fire, clearly for you to sit. You lower yourself, the wood hard beneath you, but the sense of belonging, however tenuous, is immediate. You watch as a man with powerful arms meticulously carves strips of meat, his movements precise and efficient. He glances at you, then, without a word, offers a piece from his share. It's warm, succulent, bursting with a flavor far richer than anything you've had in days, and you savor every bite, the simple act of eating alongside others an unexpected comfort. The laughter flares again from a group of younger individuals, their expressions open and unburdened. You see their strong, calloused hands, the simple but durable clothing made from hides and coarse fibers. Their eyes, bright in the firelight, hold a shared understanding, a connection forged by necessity and proximity. The world outside might be untamed and dangerous, but here, within the circle of the hearth, there is a rough-hewn security. This isn't just a place to survive. It's a place to live, to share burdens and small joys. You realize that sometimes the greatest strength isn't found in individual prowess, but in the collective hum of shared existence, the comforting weave of a common thread that binds people together, making the harsh world just a little bit softer. The comfortable crackle of the hearth fire, so recently a source of solace, suddenly morphs into an anxious flicker. A low, guttural thrumming, distant but deeply felt, begins to vibrate through the very ground beneath you, a deep resonance that seems to hum in your bones. It's not the familiar rumble of an approaching storm, nor the growl of a lone, territorial beast you've learned to distinguish. No, this is different. A rhythm that feels ancient and menacing. A sound that seems to press in from beyond the hide-covered entrance of the dwelling. The faces around the fire, moments ago alight with shared laughter and easy camaraderie, now tighten, every eye widening, reflecting the sudden, instinctive grip of fear. The woman who kindly offered you roasted meat earlier clutches her small child closer, her gaze fixed with unnerving intensity on the shadowy opening, a silent, primal alarm spreading like wildfire through the gathered group, each person mirroring the unspoken terror of their neighbors. A thin, reedy wail, a sound of profound age and sorrow, rises from the elder of the clan, a piercing note that cuts through the escalating thrumming, instantly silencing all other murmurs and shifting sounds. She begins to move, slowly at first, her aged frame stooped, then with increasing urgency, beginning a deliberate measured circle around the vibrant heart of the fire. Her hands, gnarled and powerful with countless years of labor, reach into a small pouch, scattering dried herbs onto the hungry flames. A thick puff of acrid, yet strangely comforting and protective, smoke immediately billows upwards, filling the air. The scent is sharp, earthy, distinctly different from the lingering cooking aromas. A potent mix of sage and something bitter that stings your nostrils but feels undeniably purposeful. A ward. Others begin to join her, their own movements mirroring hers. A slow, hypnotic sway, their voices rising in a low, resonant chant. It's a series of guttural, repeating sounds, building in intensity, a collective defiance against the unseen, encroaching threat outside. You feel the deep vibration of their combined voices in your chest, a powerful, communal heartbeat against the encroaching dread. You sit, momentarily captivated and overwhelmed, the fear a cold, hard knot in your stomach, but a new, curious sensation blooming alongside it, a powerful, unexpected sense of unity. You see the deep creases of worry etched on their faces, the subtle trembling in their strong, calloused hands, yet they stand together, their combined will forming a fragile but potent shield against the encroaching darkness. A young man, barely older than a boy, who was sharpening a tool beside you moments ago, now catches your eye. Then, with a hesitant, almost shy gesture, he offers you a small, smooth riverstone, pressing its cool, reassuring surface into your palm. He gives a small nod towards the swaying, chanting group, a silent, clear invitation to join. Slowly, you find yourself rising, your stiff muscles protesting, but drawn by an irresistible urge to belong. You join the soft swaying, the strange ancient sounds beginning to feel less alien, less a collection of noises, and more a fundamental part of this moment, this powerful collective shield they are raising. The individual fear doesn't vanish entirely, but it becomes shared, diluted by the powerful current of their combined presence, a collective heartbeat against the relentless rhythm of the unknown. As the ominous thrumming outside finally begins to recede and fade, gradually replaced by the persistent, soft chirping of the myriad night insects, the chanting softens, easing, and the communal breathing deepens into a collective sigh of relief. You look down at the smooth river stone in your hand, its coolness a tangible anchor, then gaze at the faces around you, still drawn with the residual tension, but now tinged with a profound, shared sense of relief. A sudden burst of melodic flutes cuts through the air, sharp and vibrant, completely obliterating the persistent, earthy hum of the forest. Then, a wave of smells washes over you. Sweet, cloying incense mixed with roasting nuts, something tangy and fruit-like, and the undeniable aroma of freshly grilled meat. It's an intoxicating blend, rich and complex, a stark, joyful assault on senses accustomed to damp earth and wood smoke. You push through a curtain of brightly colored fabric, woven with patterns you've never seen, and step into a scene of overwhelming, chaotic beauty. This isn't the quiet communal hearth of the clan. This is a marketplace, a celebration, a truce between unseen factions, all swirling in a vibrant tableau. The air thrums with 100 different sounds, the rhythmic beat of drums, the strumming of unfamiliar stringed instruments, the joyous shouts of hawkers, the peals of laughter from children chasing each other, and the incessant chatter of a multitude of voices, all blending into a symphony of life. Your eyes struggle to take it all in. Banners in shades of crimson, gold, and sapphire snap in a gentle breeze, strung between makeshift poles and ancient trees. Booths overflow with exotic goods, shimmering silks, intricate carvings, pottery painted with vivid mythical beasts, and piles of jewel-toned fruits you don't recognize. People, a diverse tapestry of faces and forms, move through the throng. Some wear the simple hides of the forest dwellers, others are cloaked in flowing robes of fine linen, and a few even sport glinting polished armor, their helmets removed and resting by their feet. Warriors and traders, villagers and nomads, all seem to mingle in an unspoken agreement of peace, their usual wary gazes replaced by expressions of relaxed amusement or genuine curiosity. You find yourself drawn into the current of the crowd, propelled by the sheer energy surrounding you, the warmth of so many bodies pressing close, the brush of different fabrics against your skin, the occasional bump of a shoulder. It's a living, breathing pulse. A vendor, his face painted with bright geometric designs, pushes a small steaming cup into your hand. The liquid inside is thick, warm, and spicy sweet, a taste that explodes on your tongue, invigorating you with every sip. You watch, mesmerized, as a group of dancers with bells on their ankles leap and spin to a frantic drum beat, their movements fluid and powerful, their faces alight with unbridled joy. Their eyes, meeting yours for a fleeting moment, hold a spark of invitation, a shared understanding of this temporary, vibrant freedom. A child, no taller than your waist, darts past, clutching a brightly colored toy, and bumps lightly into your leg, then looks up, offering a quick, shy smile before disappearing back into the crowd. You notice an older man, his beard braided with colorful threads, quietly observing the festivities from the edge of a stall, his eyes crinkling at the corners as a particularly loud burst of music fills the air. He catches your gaze and offers a slow, knowing wink, as if acknowledging the sheer wonder of it all. This whirlwind of colors, spices, and melodies isn't just a spectacle, it's a tangible, living truce, a collective sigh of relief from the harsh realities of the world. And as you stand there soaking in the shared joy, you realize that true strength isn't just about enduring hardship or facing down danger. Sometimes, it's found in the radical act of celebration, in choosing to create beauty and joy, even for a fleeting moment, as a defiant declaration against a world that constantly demands struggle. The sweet, sugary perfume of candied fruits still lingers on the air, a joyful echo from the heart of the festival. But as you navigate the edges of the throng, a different scent makes itself known. The sharp, metallic tang of countless coins exchanging hands, mixed with the musky sweat of exertion and the faint, acrid whiff of something almost like fear, masked by the general hubbub. You feel the cold, smooth weight of a freshly acquired coin in your palm, its value a fragile shield in this bustling, temporary haven. The music still pulses, a vibrant backdrop, but now your ears pick up on the undertones. Not just laughter, but the low, urgent murmur of negotiations, the terse snap of a deal made or broken, the distinct clinking of weaponry as an armored guard shifts his stance. You notice the difference in attire more acutely now. The rough homespun of a desperate farmer clutching a meager trade, contrasted with the richly embroidered silks of a merchant, counting his profits with cold, efficient hands. The contrast is stark, a visible fault line beneath the colorful surface of merriment. You observe the faces. While many are still alight with joy, you start to catch the fleeting, stolen glances. A villager, passing by a heavily armed soldier, drops his gaze instantly, a flicker of old fear in his eyes. A merchant, boasting loudly of his wares, subtly checks over his shoulder, a habit born of insecurity, not revelry. There's a young woman, her face painted with festive patterns, but her eyes, when they meet yours for a brief second, hold a deep-seated weariness, a knowledge of burdens that the flutes and drums can only momentarily drown out. Her small, almost imperceptible nod carries a message of shared understanding, a quiet acknowledgement of the fleeting nature of this peace. The vibrant banners, so full of celebratory life just moments ago, now seem to billow with a kind of desperate energy, their colors a defiant splash against the underlying tension. You see the flash of a hidden knife sheathed beneath a flowing cloak, the swift exchange of small, anonymous bundles in shadowed alleys between stalls. This peace, you realize, isn't a natural state. It's a deliberate, meticulously orchestrated truce, a fragile bubble of calm held precariously against a world still teetering on the brink. Every smile feels a little wider, every laugh a little louder, as if to compensate for the unspoken anxieties that ripple through the crowd. As the sun begins its slow descent, painting the sky in fiery oranges and purples, casting longer, more ominous shadows across the marketplace, you feel the atmosphere shift again. The energy remains high, but it's tinged with a subtle urgency, a desire to fully embrace the remaining hours of this brief, precious freedom. The weight of the coin in your hand feels less like a reward and more like a responsibility, a tool for navigation, in a world where survival often depends on more than just good intentions. And you realize that even in moments of pure, unadulterated joy, the undercurrents of human struggle, the need for power, for safety, for sustenance, are always there, shaping every interaction, reminding you that true freedom, if it exists at all, is often a temporary, hard-won commodity, cherished fiercely for as long as it lasts. The biting chill of the polished stone floor seeps up through the heavy soles of your boots, a persistent, unwelcome greeting from the very foundations of Guardia Castle. It's a cold that penetrates, settling deep in your bones, a constant reminder of the ancient, unyielding walls that surround you. The air itself feels crisp, clean, carrying the faint, almost imperceptible scent of old stone, damp mortar, and a distant hint of burning wood from some unseen hearth. Your rhythmic footsteps, heavy with the weight of your armor, echo down the long, empty corridor, each clank and scrape amplified in the vast silence. It's a sound you know intimately, a soundtrack to countless hours of unwavering vigilance, the occasional rustle of a stiff banner, hanging silently from a high archway, or the distant, muffled clang of another guard's halberd are the only breaks in the pervasive quiet. It's a silence that isn't peaceful but watchful, pregnant with unspoken expectations. You run a gauntleted hand over the rough texture of the castle wall as you walk, feeling the ingrained cold. Your helmet, heavy and restricting, limits your peripheral vision, forcing you to turn your head deliberately, sweeping your gaze across every shadow, every alcove. The flickering torchlight from sconces spaced along the corridor dances with the darkness, creating illusions, making the ancient carvings in the stone seem to shift. To watch you, you peer into the depths of a tapestry depicting some long-forgotten battle, the faces of warriors frozen in an eternal charge, their eyes seemingly following your slow, deliberate patrol. Ahead, another guard, a familiar silhouette against the dim light, rounds a corner, his armor a dull gleam in the gloom. He mirrors your posture, his movements equally measured, a testament to the shared, relentless routine. Your eyes meet for a fleeting moment, a silent nod exchanged, a mutual acknowledgement of the endless vigil, the shared burden of responsibility. There's no need for words. The understanding is deep, carved by countless shifts spent walking these very halls. You both carry the unspoken history of this place, the weight of the kingdom's safety pressing down, more tangible than the steel on your shoulders. A small tremor of irritation, a dull ache in your lower back from hours of standing, tries to break your focus, but you push it down. This isn't a place for personal discomfort. This is Guardia Castle, the heart of the kingdom, and your duty is absolute. The silence presses in again, deeper, more profound, as your fellow guard disappears from view. You find yourself listening not just for sounds, but for the absence of them, for anything that might disrupt the controlled, predictable rhythm of the castle. It's a constant, low thrum of readiness, a quiet tension that never truly dissipates. And as you continue your solitary march down the imposing corridor, the cold stone, a steady presence beneath your boots, you realize that true strength isn't always found in grand battles or heroic deeds. Sometimes it's forged in the quiet, unyielding commitment to the mundane, in the unwavering dedication to a duty that demands endless patience, constant vigilance, and the profound, almost spiritual endurance of simply being there, standing guard, day after endless day, night after endless night, a silent, living sentinel against the unseen forces of the world. The cool, smooth weight of the polished steel cuirass presses against your chest, a familiar, encompassing embrace that has become a second skin. It hums with a faint, metallic scent, tinged with the subtle aroma of the beeswax used to buff it to a mirror shine, a constant, weighty reminder of your station. The leather straps that hold it all together chafe slightly at your shoulders with every subtle shift, a minor discomfort you've long learned to ignore, a tiny price for the impeccable, formidable appearance. You stand at attention by the grand double doors leading to the council chamber, the intricate carvings of the royal crest above you seeming to stare down with ancestral gravity. Your breath comes in even, measured drafts, each one a conscious act to maintain the rigid posture. The hushed whispers from within the chamber, muffled by the thick wood, are like the distant murmur of a complex machine, hinting at the weighty decisions, the kingdom's pulse, beating just beyond your immediate sight. You catch the faint scent of old parchment and expensive, imported incense through the crack beneath the door, a rich, foreign aroma that contrasts sharply with the austere functionality of your surroundings. Your gaze sweeps across the ornate tapestries adorning the opposite wall, depicting the lineage of kings and queens, their faces stern and unyielding. You see the faint glint of another guard's polished helmet in the far corner, a stoic reflection of your own unwavering vigilance. He shifts his weight almost imperceptibly, a shared signal of the enduring weight. A royal attendant, clad in flowing, dark robes, glides silently down the corridor, their footsteps barely audible on the polished marble. Their expression is solemn, burdened, a silent testament to the constant demands placed upon everyone within these hallowed, demanding halls. They avoid your eyes, acknowledging your presence with a quick, respectful dip of the head before disappearing into another passage, carrying messages that hold the fate of provinces. As the minutes stretch into an eternity, a quiet thought surfaces in the back of your mind, a fleeting image of a simpler life, perhaps tilling a small plot of land under an open sky, far from the suffocating weight of duty and expectation. It's a muted aspiration, quickly suppressed, like a wild spark stomped out before it can ignite. Your own reflection stares back from the gleaming metal of your breastplate, a stern, unyielding face that could belong to any of Guardia's devoted soldiers, a faceless guardian. The individual within is folded away, hidden deep beneath the polished steel, replaced by the archetype of the loyal servant, the unwavering protector. The soft thud of the chamber doors opening finally pulls you back, the muffled discussions now crisper, the scent of parchment stronger. You feel a subtle shift in the air, a release of tension from within, even before you see the faces emerge. And as the figures exit, their expressions etched with the weight of the day's decisions, you realize that the crown's burden isn't just carried by the royalty, but by every individual whose life is bound by its service. It's a silent, shared weight, and the greatest strength, perhaps, lies not in what you aspire to be, but in the unwavering commitment to the role you inhabit, holding the very structure of the kingdom together, one vigilant, polished moment at a time. The air that rushes past you as you descend isn't just cold, it's ancient. It carries a thick, heavy scent of damp earth, but deeper, something musty and mineral, like stone that has forgotten the sun for centuries. The taste in your mouth is dry, almost chalky, a stark contrast to the humid world outside. Each step echoes, a hollow, ringing sound that bounces off unseen surfaces, swallowed by the profound darkness that seems to press in around you. You clutch the flickering torch tighter, its meager flame battling valiantly against the encroaching gloom. The stone steps beneath your feet are worn smooth by countless forgotten passages, sloping ever downward, slick with condensation. You feel the cold seeping through the thin leather of your gloves as you brush against a rough-hewn wall, its surface clammy and unforgiving. The light struggles to illuminate more than a few feet in any direction, turning familiar shapes into monstrous shadows. Your breath catches, a nervous flutter in your chest, as a strange, high-pitched scuttling sound whispers from the depths, just beyond the reach of your light. Your companion, a shadowy figure just behind you, shifts their weight, the faint scrape of their boot on stone, a reassuring presence. You glance back, catching a glimpse of their intent face, eyes narrowed, scanning the gloom. They raise their hand, a silent gesture for caution, their fingers momentarily illuminated by your torch before disappearing back into the vague outlines of their form. The unspoken message is clear. Something is here, something unseen, something waiting. The passage widens slightly, revealing grotesque carvings on the walls, faded, eroded by time, but still discernible. Strange, elongated figures with vacant eyes, twisted serpents, and symbols that hold no meaning in your current era. They seem to writhe in the dancing light, their ancient tales whispering from the stone itself, a silent language of a forgotten people. The air grows heavier, thicker, a palpable pressure on your eardrums. A draft, surprisingly strong, brushes against your face, carrying a hint of ozone, a strange, almost electric tang that makes the hairs on your arms stand on end. You pause, your gaze fixed on an opening further down the passage, shrouded in deeper darkness. The sense of being watched intensifies, a prickling sensation on your neck urging you forward yet holding you back. This isn't just a place of old stones. It's a repository of forgotten fears, of lost magic, of secrets that have waited for centuries to be unearthed. And as you take another deliberate step into the yawning black, the torchlight barely piercing the veil, you realize that the deepest discoveries aren't always about what you find, but what you awaken within yourself, the primal curiosity that dares you to confront the ghosts of time, one chilling step at a time. The air in these depths suddenly turns sharp, metallic, a taste of danger on your tongue, not just rust, but something acrid, almost electric. Your skin prickles, an involuntary shiver, despite the stale, heavy warmth that clings to the air. You hear it then, a faint, almost imperceptible click just ahead, a sound too deliberate, too mechanical for the natural decay of the ruins. The hair on the back of your neck stands on end. Your companion, quicker than thought, lunges forward, a hand reaching out, not to grab you, but to slap the ancient stone just inches from your foot. A whirring groan erupts from the wall, a deep, grinding sound that echoes ominously through the passage, making the very air vibrate. Before you can even register the movement, a series of razor-sharp blades, glinting even in the dim torchlight, spring from the stone, slicing through the empty air where your leg would have been a heartbeat ago. The sudden, violent whoosh of displaced air chills your skin. You feel the frantic thump of your heart against your ribs, a frantic drumbeat of pure, unadulterated terror. Your companion's eyes, wide and intense, lock with yours, a silent communication of warning and shared, immediate relief. They point with a steady finger towards a barely visible seam in the floor, a thin, faint line that speaks of ancient engineering, of calculated peril. You learn quickly, your senses heightened, almost preternatural. The musty scent of ancient dust is now mixed with the acrid smell of your own sweat. Every shadow is suspect, every creak of settling stone a potential trigger. You step gingerly, testing the ground with your foot, listening for any telltale shift, any faint click. You notice strange depressions in the floor, almost imperceptible until your companion points them out with a subtle gesture, their movements fluid, their gaze constantly sweeping the crumbling architecture. They signal a narrow ledge ahead, crumbling and precarious, that you must traverse. The abyss below it is swallowed by impenetrable darkness, its only sound, the slow, rhythmic drip of water, magnified and eerie. You press yourself against the cold, rough rock face, your fingers seeking purchase in the shallow crevices, your breath held tight, feeling the gritty dust on your cheek. The sheer drop just inches from your boot is a dizzying, terrifying presence, a constant, silent threat. Then, after what feels like an eternity of tension, of near misses and heart-stopping evasions, you round a final, crumbling corner. The air here is different again, cleaner, fresher, with a faint, almost sweet metallic tang, not of rust, but of pure, raw energy. Before you, bathed in an ethereal, pulsing blue light emanating from a gigantic crystal embedded in the far wall, is a large, untouched chamber. There are no more traps, no more lurking shadows, just the quiet hum of power, a reverberating song of forgotten magic. Your companion stops beside you, their rigid posture softening, a small, weary smile touching their lips. They reach out and place a hand on your shoulder. A firm, comforting pressure, their eyes reflecting the same awe and profound relief that floods your own system. The adrenaline, so recently a crippling fear, now recedes, leaving a vibrant, almost intoxicating hum in your veins. You feel the lingering tremor in your hands, the residual tension in your shoulders. but overriding it all is a surge of profound, almost dizzying elation. You made it. You navigated the ancient gauntlet, outwitted the forgotten architects of peril, and emerged into this space of profound mystery. And as you step into the soft blue glow of the massive crystal, you realize that the most potent victories aren't always about slaying a monster or claiming a treasure. The rich, loamy smell of freshly turned earth rises to meet you, a deep, nourishing aroma that fills your lungs with every breath. It's warm, sun-baked soil, subtly damp beneath the surface, promising growth and life. You feel the rough, familiar texture of a wooden hoe handle in your hands, its worn smoothness conforming to your grip, already calloused from countless hours of labor. The rhythmic thump scrape as the blade bites into the ground, breaking up clods and clearing weeds, reverberates up your arms, a steady, physical pulse that aligns with your own heartbeat. Sunlight, bright and persistent, warms the back of your neck as you bend to your work. A bead of sweat trickles down your temple, reaching your eye, and you blink it away, the salty sting, a minor inconvenience, against the deep satisfaction of the effort. Your muscles ache, a good, clean burn that speaks of purpose and tangible results. You trace a new furrow with your foot, ensuring it's straight, deep enough, ready to receive the tiny, hopeful seeds you carry in a small pouch tied to your belt. The faint, high-pitched hum of bees, busily working among the wildflowers at the edge of the field, is a constant, gentle backdrop to the quiet industry. You pause for a moment, straightening up, stretching the persistent stiffness from your lower back. Your gaze sweeps across the sprawling fields, a patchwork quilt of greens and browns, stretching towards a distant, tree-lined horizon. A few rows over, a neighbor, their face shaded by a broad-brimmed hat, works with a similar steady rhythm, their movements mirroring your own. You catch their eye, and a shared nod passes between you, an unspoken acknowledgement of the enduring task, the common struggle, and the quiet pride in tending the land. There's a faint, earthy dust on their clothes, just as there is on yours, a badge of shared experience. As the weeks turn, the smell of the earth changes, evolving. It becomes sweeter, greener, infused with the scent of sprouting shoots and budding plants. You feel the tender, fragile leaves of young crops against your fingertips as you carefully thin them, deciding which will thrive, which must make way for the stronger ones. The sun, higher and fiercer now, beats down, demanding more from your body, but the sight of the burgeoning green, the promise of the harvest, fuels your persistence. You hear the rustle of the wind through the tall stalks, a whispering chorus that grows stronger with each passing day, a living testament to your tireless cultivation. Later the air will turn heavy, with the intoxicating scent of ripe grains, golden and heavy, ready for the scythe. You'll feel the crisp snap of stalks breaking, the satisfying weight of a full basket, the collective sigh of relief from the community as the bounty is gathered. Then, the cool touch of the autumn soil as you prepare it again, scattering seeds that will sleep through the cold, awaiting the warmth of the next cycle. This isn't just work. It's a living, breathing connection to the pulse of the world, an intimate dance with the seasons. And in that continuous rhythm of sun-kissed soil and calloused hands, you realize that life's most profound stories aren't always told in grand adventures or epic battles, but in the quiet, persistent turning of the earth, the simple, honest labor of coaxing sustenance from the ground, and the enduring strength found in the cyclical, unwavering promise of renewal. A dry, biting wind whips across the open fields, not carrying the sweet scent of burgeoning crops, but the fine, gritty dust of soil that has baked too long under a relentless sun. You feel it sting your eyes, parch your throat, and plaster your tunic against your skin. The usual rich, earthy aroma has thinned, replaced by an almost metallic tang, a hint of desperation in the air. The wooden hoe handle, once a familiar comfort, now feels heavy, almost futile, as its blade scrapes against the hardened, unyielding ground. Your gaze sweeps across what should be thriving rows, but instead reveals stunted, yellowing stalks, their meager heads barely formed. The vibrant greens of hope have faded to a tired brown. The rhythmic hum of insects is muted, replaced by the persistent, mournful whisper of the wind through the sparse, brittle leaves, a sound that carries the weight of unspoken worry. You reach down, picking up a handful of earth, feeling its dryness, its lack of life-giving moisture. It crumbles too easily in your palm, like fine ash, a stark contrast to the rich, dark soil you once tilled with such certainty. A fellow farmer, their backs stooped from years of labor, and now further burdened by the season's cruel hand, passes by your row. Their eyes, deep-set and weary, meet yours. There's no need for words. The shared understanding is a heavy shroud, a slight shrug, a downturned mouth, a slow shake of the head. All speak volumes about the meager yield, the tightening grip of want. You see the same silent fear reflected in their gaze, a fear that stretches beyond a single meal, reaching into the deep, primal dread of an empty winter. The sun, once a benevolent giver of life, now feels like a relentless, burning eye, mocking your efforts. Your stomach gives a low, protesting rumble, a gnawing ache that has become a constant companion these days. It's not just hunger, it's the profound, chilling anxiety of not knowing where the next full meal will come from, a weight that presses down heavier than any physical task. You force yourself to continue, coaxing what little you can from the stubborn earth, each handful of grain a tiny, precious victory against the encroaching uncertainty. Later, as the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in colors too vibrant for the mood, you sit with your small, hard-won portion of the harvest. It's a simple, coarse gruel, bland and unadorned, but as you raise the wooden bowl to your lips, the warmth of it spreading through your chilled hands, you taste something profound. It's not just the faint flavor of the grain. It's the culmination of endless effort, the gamble against nature, the sweat, the worry, the shared struggle of an entire community. Every slow, deliberate spoonful is a defiant act, a small, tangible triumph against the vast, indifferent forces of the world. And in that moment of simple, honest sustenance, you realize that while grand dreams and epic quests hold their own allure, there is a profound, grounding truth in the most basic of human needs. The true measure of resilience, you understand, often lies not in conquering the extraordinary, but in the unwavering persistence through the mundane, the desperate hope in the face of scarcity, and the deep, uncomplicated comfort found in having just enough to face another uncertain day. It's a lesson whispered by the wanting wind, but profoundly understood by the satisfied silence of a grateful, albeit meager, meal. A low, rhythmic thrumming, distant yet unsettlingly deep, begins to vibrate not just in the air, but in the very ground beneath your feet. It's a sound unlike any natural drum, ancient and primal, yet overlaid with a jarring, almost metallic edge. An unnatural chill bites at your exposed skin, a pervasive cold that seeps deeper than any ordinary winter draft, carrying with it a faint, acrid scent of ozone and something burnt, something corrupted, that prickles the back of your throat. You are in a small village, perhaps on the edge of a bustling town, but the usual cheerful sounds of daily life have suddenly muted. The clang of the blacksmith's hammer is hesitant. The chatter of vendors at the market stalls has hushed. Your gaze, along with everyone else's, is drawn instinctively north, towards the forbidding mountains that always loom on the horizon. The sky above them, usually a clear expanse, is now bruised with a deep, unnatural purple, swirling with eddies of darker clouds that seem to churn with an inner light, a silent, ominous display of raw, uncontrolled power. You feel the tightening grip of fear in your own chest, a cold knot forming, mirroring the expressions you see around you. A young child playing near a well drops their wooden toy, its clatter loud in the sudden quiet, and instinctively runs to their mother, burying their face in her skirts. The mother, her face etched with a familiar, weary dread, holds the child close, her eyes wide and fixed on the northern sky, her lips moving in a silent prayer or incantation. You notice the baker, his hands still dusted with flour, pause mid-knead, his shoulders hunched, his gaze lost in the looming darkness. The distant thrumming intensifies, now accompanied by a faint, high-pitched keening that seems to pierce directly into your thoughts. A sound of suffering and raw magic. It's a signature, a brand, of the Sorcerer King, a chilling reminder of his relentless campaign. Every now and then, a faint, almost imperceptible flash of green or violet light flickers within the distant storm clouds, momentarily illuminating the twisted, unnatural shapes within. It's not lightning, it's something far more sinister, a manifestation of forces beyond the natural order, reshaping the very fabric of the world. A grizzled old man, leaning against the weathered wall of his cottage, catches your eye. His face is grim, his jaw tight, and with a slow, deliberate movement, he raises a calloused hand, pointing a gnarled finger towards the north. His eyes, full of a lifetime of witnessed horrors, hold a profound, weary sadness, but also an unwavering defiance. He doesn't need to speak. The message is clear. The darkness is gathering, the war is coming, and there is no escape. The wind that sweeps through the village now carries not just dust, but the faint, metallic scent of battle, of something ancient and terrible stirring. As the ominous purple deepens over the mountains, casting long, unsettling shadows across the once peaceful village, you feel the profound shift. The carefree rhythm of daily life is gone, replaced by a pervasive anxiety, a silent preparation for the inevitable. The chill of Magus's reign isn't just a physical sensation. It's a creeping dread, an oppressive blanket that smothers hope and peace. And in that moment, watching the sky churn with dark magic, you realize that true strength isn't always about wielding a sword or casting a spell. Sometimes, it's found in the simple, quiet act of enduring, of holding on to hope and humanity, even as the world around you descends into a terrifying, unnatural twilight, awaiting a conflict that will change everything. The taste in your mouth is a persistent blandness, a thin, watery ghost of what food should be. It clings to your tongue, leaving a faint, metallic aftertaste that isn't from iron, but from the simple, stark reality of hunger. You feel the constant, insidious chill that permeates the very stone of the town, seeping through your well-worn, patched tunic, a cold that even the meager, smoldering hearth in your dwelling struggles to fight. It's a cold that goes beyond the weather. It's a cold that gnaws at the spirit, a byproduct of scarcity. You step out into the main street, and the usual morning bustle is a muted echo of its former self. The air, once alive with the rich smells of baking bread and fresh produce, now carries only the faint, acrid scent of overworked hearths, and the pervasive, almost invisible aroma of empty bellies. Your eyes sweep across the market square where vibrant stalls once overflowed. Now, they stand mostly bare, displaying only a few wizened roots, some dried scraps of unidentifiable meat, and the occasional, heavily guarded sack of grain. The prices, scrawled on small wooden signs, are exorbitant, a silent, cruel joke against the gaunt faces of the few shoppers who linger, their expressions a mix of desperate hope and resigned despair. Then, from the central plaza, the booming voice of a town crier slices through the quiet desperation. His words, amplified by some unseen magical enchantment, echo off the surrounding buildings, filling the air with a relentless, repetitive message. He speaks of glorious victories, of Magus's forces being pushed back, of abundant supplies on their way. He gestures wildly towards a crude banner depicting a triumphant soldier, his face glowing with an impossible, heroic light. You see the people around you. Some nod mechanically, their eyes distant, their faces unconvincing. Others simply avert their gaze, a silent, almost defiant refusal to acknowledge the blatant hollow untruth of the proclaimed prosperity. You pass a small baker's shop, its once inviting aroma long gone. The baker, his face drawn and pale, is meticulously dividing a single, small loaf of dark, coarse bread into even smaller portions. His eyes, when they flicker up to meet yours, hold a deep, shared weariness. A fleeting moment of connection between two souls who understand the unspoken truth. He gives a small, almost imperceptible shake of his head, a gesture that conveys far more than any shouted propaganda ever could. The bread, still warm, carries only the faintest scent of grain, a stark contrast to the rich, inviting perfumes you remember from better times. You continue your slow, deliberate walk, your footsteps heavy, feeling the faint tremor of your own hunger, a constant, low thrum beneath your resolve. You try to find something, anything, beyond your meager ration, but the meager displays in the market offer no relief. You see a mother try to distract her crying child with an empty promise, her hand stroking their hair, her eyes filled with a potent mixture of love and helplessness. The propaganda, with its vibrant lies and grand pronouncements, feels like a flimsy, transparent veil, barely concealing the stark, biting reality of the situation. It's a bitter taste in your mouth, this forced optimism, this manufactured hope. But then, as you turn to head back, you see something else. A small group of villagers, huddled together near a cold, stone fountain, are sharing a single, small fruit, carefully dividing it into slivers, their hands passing it with a reverence usually reserved for sacred objects. Their faces are still thin, their clothes still patched, but their eyes, in the shared act of survival, hold a spark. Not of joy, perhaps, but of unwavering, quiet resilience. They don't need the crier's lies. They have each other, and the simple, defiant act of enduring. The scent that wraps around you isn't the damp, fertile earth you remember, nor the sharp tang of a predator. No, this is a smothering, almost cloying perfume of ancient moss and unnamed, overgrown blossoms, thick and sweet, that feels like it's stealing the air from your lungs. You reach out, and your hands don't find rough bark, but a soft, springy wall of leaves and vines, surprisingly yielding, yet utterly impenetrable. Every direction you turn, it's the same dense, vibrant green, pressing in, an endless, living labyrinth. Your footsteps are muffled by a thick carpet of decaying leaves and tangled roots, making the ground uneven, treacherous. You stumble, catching yourself on a twisted branch, its surface slick with dampness. The light filtering through the impossibly dense canopy above is a fractured mosaic, shards of sunlight too brief to offer direction, too fleeting to cast clear shadows. Every tree looks identical, their massive trunks adorned with the same emerald moss, their branches interlocking in a bewildering, organic puzzle. You try to remember which way you came, which way is north, but the very concept of direction seems to melt away, absorbed by the overwhelming, confusing sameness. A faint rustling, like 1,000 tiny whispers, sweeps through the foliage around you, seemingly coming from all sides at once. It's impossible to pinpoint. Was it a breeze? Or something moving, just beyond your sight, echoing your own desperate, disoriented movements? A bird call, sharp and unfamiliar, rings out, then another, from a different direction, making you spin around, trying to locate its source, only to find more impenetrable green. The forest hums with a low, continuous sound, a myriad of unseen insects, but it's not a comforting sound. It's a constant, insistent drone that feels like it's vibrating inside your skull, adding to the growing sense of unease. You push through a curtain of heavy dew-laden vines, the cold moisture clinging to your face, stinging your eyes. Your clothes catch on thorns you can't see, small tugs that remind you of your vulnerability. The feeling of going in circles intensifies, a sickening certainty forming in your gut. You pass a particularly gnarled, distinctive tree, its trunk split down the middle, and then, moments later, you swear you see it again, eerily familiar, just ahead. A wave of frustration, sharp and sudden, floods through you, making you want to shout, to rage against this silent, indifferent maze that seems to mock your every attempt at navigation. The air grows cooler, heavier, as the fragmented light begins to fade, swallowed by the deepening shadows of evening. The green takes on an even more menacing quality, shifting to hues of deep, inky emerald. The whispers in the leaves seem to grow louder, more insistent, no longer just rustles, but almost like murmurs, taunting you from the unseen depths. You try to focus, to find a single undeniable landmark, but the forest yields no such clarity, only more of the same, an endless, bewildering embrace of green. And in that profound, disorienting quiet, with the sweet, smothering scent of the wild and the endless, twisting paths blurring into one, you realize that sometimes the greatest challenge isn't a direct threat, but the subtle, insidious loss of your own bearings. It's the unsettling truth that without familiar anchors, without a clear path, the mind itself can become a labyrinth, reflecting the very confusion of the world around you. You stand, utterly lost, and understand that true freedom, or perhaps true terror, lies in the complete surrender to the unknown, where the only guide left is the frantic beat of your own confused, bewildered heart. The sweet, cloying scent of moss and unseen blossoms still hangs heavy in the air, but now you're actively trying to pick it apart, to find a single, discernible thread within the overwhelming perfume. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the relentless visual green recede, and focus, truly focus, on the subtle currents in the air. The wind, you realize, isn't uniform. You feel a distinct, cooler breath against your right cheek, a steady, persistent push that wasn't noticeable before. It whispers through the leaves with a slightly lower hum, suggesting an opening, perhaps a natural funnel in the dense canopy somewhere in that direction. You open your eyes, the green still pressing in, but now your gaze is different, sharper. You scan the tree trunks, not for familiar landmarks, but for patterns, for the subtle signs that nature leaves for those who know how to read them. You notice the patches of moss clinging to the northern sides of trees, thicker, richer, absorbing the meager light. It's a faint, almost imperceptible compass, but it's something. Your hand reaches out, feeling the cool, damp resilience of the moss, grounding you. You start to walk, deliberately, following the whisper of the wind, the subtle lean of the growth. Your footsteps now less frantic, more a deliberate, tactile exploration of the labyrinth. The ground beneath your feet, so recently an indistinguishable carpet of leaves and roots, now starts to offer subtle cues. You feel a faint, consistent incline, a gentle slope downwards that suggests water flow, a path that might lead to a stream, to a more open area. You listen intently, straining your ears beyond the pervasive hum of insects, trying to discern any distinct sound. Was that a distant gurgle? Or just the rustle of leaves amplified by your desperate hope? Your heart, which had been a frantic drumbeat of panic, now settles into a steady, determined rhythm, a primal beat that echoes the deep, quiet pulse of the forest itself. You pass what looks like the same gnarled tree you swore you'd seen before, its trunk split down the middle, but this time you observe it with a new lens. You notice the unique pattern of lichen on its bark, the way a specific vine twists around its base. It's a confirmation, not of being lost, but of starting to understand the forest's own intricate language. Your companion from the ruins. Their wisdom now internalized seems to guide your inner eye, reminding you of the subtle ways of the wild. You remember the old man in the village, his weathered hands, his quiet knowing. Hours blend into an indistinguishable stretch of concentrated effort. Your throat is dry, your muscles ache with a deeper, more profound fatigue, but a stubborn resolve has taken root. You are no longer just lost. You are actively, deliberately seeking. The air around you, while still heavy with the sweet, ancient scent of the forest, now carries a faint, tantalizing hint of something else. A metallic tang, subtle but distinct, like wet stone exposed to the open sky. It's a promise, perhaps, of a clearing, of a change in the relentless green. You pick up your pace, your eyes fixed on the direction of that faint, hopeful scent. Every sense now fully engaged, stripped of all unnecessary thought, focused entirely on the fundamental act of navigation. And as you push through one last particularly dense curtain of vines, feeling the chill of damp leaves against your skin, you glimpse a pale, hopeful sliver of unfamiliar sky. You realize that when all your familiar maps and guiding stars fail, the deepest, most primal parts of yourself awaken. The body remembers, the senses sharpen, and instinct becomes your most trusted compass. This journey isn't just about finding your way out. The air itself isn't just cool. It vibrates with a constant, almost musical hum, a deep resonance that you feel more in your bones than hear with your ears. It's accompanied by a clean, crystalline scent, like ozone mixed with something impossibly ancient and pure, a smell that speaks of immense, unseen energies. You step onto polished, translucent pathways that seem to float effortlessly, suspended high above a shimmering, cloud-filled expanse. Below you, through the glowing floor, you glimpse intricate cities of impossible spires and glowing conduits, all bathed in an ethereal light that pulses with soft blues, greens, and golds. Your eyes struggle to adjust to a world where light doesn't come from a single source, but emanates from every surface, from the very air itself. Massive glowing crystals, impossibly pure and vibrant, are embedded in every structure, shimmering with an inner life. They hum, a soft, deep thrum that harmonizes with the pervasive vibrational energy around you. You look up, and there's no sky, not in the way you know it, but a vast, shimmering dome of energy, through which distant celestial bodies can be faintly perceived. Yet somehow, you feel the gentle push of the wind. Figures move with a serene, almost unhurried grace through this radiant landscape. Their robes are woven from shimmering, luminous fabrics, catching and amplifying the ambient glow. Their faces, often adorned with intricate, subtle markings, carry an expression of calm power, of deep inherent knowledge. They don't rush, they don't shout. Their interactions are expressed through quiet gestures, knowing glances, a soft, almost telepathic understanding that seems to flow between them. You see a woman, her hand resting casually on a large, glowing crystal, and a ripple of energy, almost imperceptible, seems to pass from her to the stone, a silent communion of immense power. You move through the pathways, drawn deeper into this city of wonders, feeling the smooth, almost warm surface of the floating crystal beneath your feet. A distant, melodious chime rings out, a sound of pure, resonant harmony that seems to adjust the very air pressure around you, a sensory marvel. Every structure, every archway, every delicate bridge seems to defy gravity, appearing both impossibly fragile and eternally strong. There's no dirt here, no grime, no sign of decay. Everything is pristine, humming with a controlled, almost divine perfection. As you pass one of the more elaborate crystal structures, you catch the faint echo of whispers, not spoken words, but thoughts, currents of immense power, and complex ideas that brush against the edges of your awareness, like a subtle draft of cold air in a warm room. It's disorienting, exhilarating, and subtly unsettling. The sheer scale of what has been achieved here, the mastery over nature and energy, is almost overwhelming. A man in flowing silver robes, his eyes an impossibly bright shade of blue, pauses his measured walk to glance at you. His expression is unreadable, a mixture of profound indifference and a fleeting, almost clinical curiosity before he continues his silent journey, his gaze fixed on some distant, unseen point. The wonders here are breathtaking, a testament to what incredible knowledge and magic can achieve. But beneath the ethereal glow, beneath the constant hum of power, you sense a profound separation, a quiet arrogance that comes with such absolute control. And as you stand there, awestruck yet oddly uneasy, in this city of light and impossible marvels, you realize that the pursuit of ultimate power, while capable of creating unimaginable beauty and wonder, often comes with a silent, invisible cost. It's a delicate balance, this dance with immense forces, and the greatest challenge isn't just mastering the magic, but remembering the human heart that beats within the midst of such dazzling, awe-inspiring, yet potentially perilous perfection. The crystalline hum, so recently a marvel, now feels like a relentless pressure against your eardrums, almost too loud, a constant low thrum that makes the air itself feel dense with unseen power. The pure ozone scent of magic still lingers, but now a subtle, almost metallic tang, cold and sharp, cuts through it, hinting at something artificial, something forced. You stand on the shimmering, translucent pathways, still suspended high above the cloud-filled expanse, but the effortless float now feels like a precarious perch, disconnected from anything real or grounded. Your eyes, no longer simply admiring, begin to search for flaws, for cracks in the perfect facade. The glowing cities of spires and conduits, beautiful as they are, seem to hold a cold, sterile beauty. The ethereal light, pulsing with blues, greens, and golds, is dazzling, but it casts no warm shadows, leaving nowhere for doubt or imperfection to hide. You observe the figures in their luminous robes, moving with that same serene, unhurried grace. Yet their expressions, while calm, now seem distant, almost arrogant, their eyes often fixed on some far-off point, rarely meeting yours. There's a profound self-assurance in their bearing, a casual mastery that hints at power so ingrained, so absolute, it borders on indifference. You see a woman, her fingers tracing patterns on a shimmering control panel that hums with energy. She doesn't just touch it, she commands it. With a flick of her wrist, a slight shift of her gaze, and a massive, distant structure of pure light shifts, reconfigures without a sound. It's an effortless display of godlike control, and watching it, a prickle of something cold and sharp stirs within you. It's not just awe anymore, it's a faint, unsettling envy, a profound sense of your own insignificance in the face of such overwhelming, innate power. You notice a slight tension in your own jaw, a clenching of your hands. The air around you, while still imbued with magic, now carries a faint, high-pitched whine beneath the deeper hum, a sound almost like a strained chord, a subtle dissonance. You pass by a group of elders, their faces etched with ancient wisdom, but their eyes, when they briefly glance at you, hold a flicker of something calculating, an assessment. Their whispers are low, almost inaudible, but you catch the cold, hard glint in their eyes, the subtle shift in their posture, as they gaze toward a central, impossibly tall tower of pure, condensed energy, pulsing with an inner light stronger than anything else in the city. The very ground beneath your feet, while still smooth and warm, now seems to resonate with a deeper, more demanding frequency, a relentless pulse that speaks not of harmony, but of unyielding ambition. The shimmering dome above, once a protective blanket, now feels like a sealed chamber, trapping the immense, raw power within, and perhaps trapping those who wield it. A single, distinct shadow, a long, slender form, stretches across a distant crystalline plaza, reaching towards the base of that central pulsating tower. It's a shadow that seems to deepen the ethereal glow, creating a striking contrast that feels less like light and dark, and more like potential and peril. And as you stand there, dwarfed by the magnificent, yet subtly menacing, grandeur of zeal, feeling the hum of power in your teeth, and the cold, metallic taste of ambition on your tongue, you realize that the pursuit of ultimate control, the desire to achieve a godlike state, often transcends mere wonder. It creates a chasm, not just between the powerful and the powerless, but between aspiration and consequence. The true brilliance of such a civilization, you understand, is always shadowed by the immense quiet cost of its own relentless climb towards an absolute, dangerous perfection, a constant dance on the precipice of its own magnificent, self-made precipice. A piercing, high-pitched shriek rips through the crystalline hum of zeal, not a sound of distress but of agony, like a world itself is tearing apart. It's so intense it vibrates in your teeth, rattling your very bones, completely drowning out the soothing resonance that defined this place. The pristine ozone scent of magic instantly curdles into something acrid, burning, a metallic tang of raw, destructive energy that chokes your breath. The translucent pathways beneath your feet don't just crack, they explode outwards, sending shards of shimmering light, scattering like deadly confetti. You stumble, your knees buckling, the effortless float of the city now a terrifying, uncontrolled lurch. A deafening roar follows the shriek, a sound that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere, a primal scream from the heart of the sky. Looking up, the vast, shimmering energy dome that once protected this world twists and ripples, then fragments into impossible geometric patterns of furious crimson and violent violet, before shattering entirely. Through the rents in the sky, you glimpse an alien, malevolent light, a terrifying, silent eye-opening in the heavens, vast and indifferent. Panic erupts around you. Figures in luminous robes, once serene, now run, their graceful movements replaced by desperate, clumsy sprints towards any perceived safety. Their calm, knowing expressions contort into masks of pure terror, their silent understanding replaced by guttural, animalistic cries. You see a woman, her shimmering dress catching fire as a blast of raw energy erupts from a nearby conduit, throwing her through the air like a rag doll. A massive crystal spire, one that proudly defied gravity just moments ago, begins to glow with an unstable internal fire, its perfect geometry warping, twisting, before disintegrating into a shower of brilliant, superheated dust that rains down upon the chaos. You try to move, to run, but the ground heaves beneath you, a violent tremor that sends you sprawling. The polished, buoyant pathways buckle and collapse, sending cascades of broken crystal into the swirling abyss below, where the clouds now churn with an angry, unnatural dark. You feel the searing heat of cascading magic on your exposed skin, the rush of wind from impossible collapses, the gritty dust of a dying world filling your mouth and eyes. The distant hum of power is now a frantic, uncontrollable scream, a monstrous symphony of destruction. Near you, a man, his face a picture of utter despair, stands frozen, his arms outstretched as if to embrace the oncoming oblivion, his eyes fixed on the collapsing central tower, which now glows with an insane, blinding light, consuming itself in a maelstrom of raw force. You feel the world tilt, the very concept of up and down dissolving into a sickening vertigo. You brace for impact, for the final, inevitable plunge into the churning darkness that swallows everything. The air is thick with the scent of ozone and death, a horrifying perfume for a world's final breath. And as you cling to a crumbling fragment of what was once a majestic bridge, watching the perfect, glittering city of Zeal tear itself apart, devoured by the very power it sought to command, you realize that true ambition, when untempered by humility, does not elevate, it consumes. It reduces even the most magnificent wonders to dust and memory. The greatest strength, you understand, isn't in wielding unimaginable power, but in recognizing its terrifying limits, and in clinging to the precious, fragile thread of existence when an entire civilization, in its arrogance, screams its own cataclysmic end. The gritty taste of ash and pulverized stone coats your tongue, thick and bitter, making your throat feel raw. Your ears ring with a deafening silence. A ghost of the cataclysmic screams and roars that just moments ago tore through the very fabric of existence. You feel the crushing weight of debris pressing down on you, jagged fragments of what were once shimmering, ethereal structures now reduced to cold, unyielding rock and broken crystal. Every breath you take scrapes against the inside of your lungs, filling them with a choking, acrid dust that hangs heavy in the air, a pungent, metallic scent of destruction and raw, unleashed power. You claw your way upwards, muscles screaming in protest, pushing aside jagged shards that scrape against your skin, leaving stinging trails. The cool, damp air that finally hits your face is a shock, sharp and fresh against the searing heat that still radiates from scattered pockets of glowing, unstable energy. You push free, stumbling onto what was once a majestic plaza, now a landscape of grotesque ruins. The sky above is no longer the vast, shimmering dome of Zeal, but a bruised, angry canvas of perpetual twilight, choked with roiling, black storm clouds that stretch endlessly, bleeding faint, unsettling hues of purple and sickly green. The ground beneath your feet is a churned wasteland of jagged rock, deep fissures and craters that smolder with an unnatural internal fire. Figures emerge from the swirling dust, ghostly silhouettes, moving with a chilling slowness, their luminous robes torn and caked with ash, their faces etched with a profound, vacant despair. These are the remnants, the few, of the once proud civilization. Their eyes, when they meet yours through the gloom, hold a terrible, shared understanding. The world they knew is gone, shattered beyond recognition. A woman, her hair singed, her hands trembling, stumbles past, clutching a small, inert bundle, her gaze fixed on something unseen, her lips moving in a silent, broken lament. There's no helping hand offered, no word exchanged, only the raw, desperate instinct to keep moving, to find a patch of solid ground in this chaotic, broken reality. The air thrums with a low, residual energy, a deep, mournful hum from the planet itself, scarred and bleeding. The faint taste of pure magic, once a sign of wonder, now feels like a sickness, a poison that has permeated everything. You see a glint of what might be a water source, a small trickling stream emerging from a crack in the rock, its surface reflecting the eerie, bruised sky. You move towards it, your thirst a desperate, urgent command, each step across the unstable ground, a precarious gamble. Ahead, another survivor, equally desperate, scrambles towards it, their movements jerky, almost feral, a clear indication of the raw competition for even the most basic necessities in this new, brutal world. You reach the trickle, sinking to your knees, scooping the cool, clean water into your cupped hands, feeling its life-giving coolness against your parched lips, the taste pure and utterly vital. You look out at the landscape, a desolate panorama of collapsed towers, burning craters, and a sky that screams of perpetual sorrow. This is not just a different place, it's a different time, a new, scarred reality, born from the ruins of arrogant ambition. And as the water trickles down your throat, a moment of precious, vital comfort in the midst of overwhelming despair, you realize that the most profound shifts in human existence aren't always heralded by grand revolutions, but by the devastating, quiet aftermath of utter destruction. The true measure of the human spirit, you understand, isn't just in striving for greatness, but in the stubborn, defiant act of surviving, of finding meaning and purpose in the desolate wreckage, and in the enduring, raw capacity to simply breathe, to thirst, and to carry the heavy, inescapable weight of a world reborn in scars and dust. The air that bites at your exposed skin isn't merely cold. It's a metallic, desolate chill, carrying the sharp, acrid scent of rust, pulverized concrete, and the ghost of something long burnt. It tastes dry and bitter on your tongue, like fine dust mixed with the faint, unsettling tang of ozone. The only sound is the hollow whisper of the wind, a mournful sigh weaving through the skeletal remains of what were once colossal structures, punctuated by the occasional, unsettling groan of twisting rebar or the distant, scraping clatter of unseen debris shifting in the vast, silent wreckage. You feel the unforgiving texture of cracked pavement beneath your worn boots, each step crunching on scattered fragments of glass and concrete. Above you, the sky is a perpetually bruised industrial gray, filtering down a weak, pallid light that casts long, distorted shadows of twisted metal. Towering husks of buildings pierce the sky, their exposed internal skeletons of corroded steel reaching like desperate, broken fingers. Every surface is an artist's palette of decay, rust orange bleeding into faded paint, concrete crumbling like ancient bone. The sheer scale of destruction here is staggering, a silent monument to a future that never truly bloomed. You clamber over a tangled barricade of collapsed girders, the cold, rough metal scraping against your gloved hands, leaving a faint metallic sheen. Your movements are deliberate, cautious, each placement of foot and hand a calculated risk. A loose pipe shifts under your weight, sending a cascade of smaller debris clattering into the depths below, its noise echoing unnaturally, a piercing sound in the vast silence. You freeze, listening, your breath held, your heart a frantic drum against your ribs. The silence that follows feels heavier, more profound, making the hairs on your arms stand on end. Your gaze sweeps across the desolate panorama, searching for anything. A glint of reflected light, the dark maw of a semi-intact doorway, a path through the rubble that might offer access to a forgotten interior. You spot a distant, shadowy form, almost indistinct against the backdrop of ruin. Another scavenger, perhaps, or one of the automatons still mindlessly patrolling their programmed routes. Their movements are slow, laborious, a mirroring of your own burdened progress. There's no greeting, no gesture, only a shared, unspoken understanding of the grim, solitary task that defines existence in this barren age. You push through a torn section of what might have been a wall, the tattered remnants of heavy fabric flapping weakly in the desolate breeze. The air inside is stiller, heavier, carrying the profound smell of stagnation, of dust and trapped memories. Your hand brushes against a cold, smooth surface. A console, Its screens dark and inert, covered in a thick layer of fine, gray particulate. You run a finger over it, revealing a faint, unreadable symbol, a relic of a vanished purpose. The utter stillness here is almost worse than the outdoor groans, a suffocating vacuum where life once pulsed. And as you stand there, dwarfed by the skeletal remains of human ambition, feeling the profound chill of this forgotten future, you realize that survival here isn't about grand triumphs, but about the relentless, grinding persistence of simply being dull. It's a testament to the stubborn resilience of life, clinging to existence amidst the decay. This desolate landscape isn't just a graveyard of steel and concrete. It's a harsh, unforgiving teacher, showing you that even in the most utter silence, the echo of humanity's indelible will, however small, however broken, still endures. The gnawing emptiness in your stomach isn't just a physical ache. It's a deep, persistent tremor that vibrates through your entire body, a chilling companion in the perpetual twilight. The air, already sharp with the scent of rust and pulverized concrete, now carries the faint, bitter tang of desperation, a taste that settles on your tongue like fine, abrasive dust. You feel the profound cold of this ruined metropolis seep into your very bones, penetrating the thin, worn fabric of your clothes, a constant, insidious presence that saps your remaining warmth. You thrust your gloved hands into the torn remains of a tattered backpack, feeling only the familiar absence, the soft, hollow fabric yielding nothing. Your fingers brush against a stray, cold coin, its value meaningless in a world where sustenance is traded only for raw effort or salvaged scraps. The metallic clink is sharp in the vast, broken silence that blankets the city, a sound that echoes the hollowness in your own gut. This isn't just an empty pocket. It's a profound, chilling realization of utter destitution in a landscape stripped bare. Your eyes, weary from endless searching, scan the desolate streets, a labyrinth of twisted rebar and shattered glass. Towering husks of buildings pierce the bruised, leaden sky, their gaping windows like vacant eyes staring out at a future that never was. There are no comforting smells here, no distant fires, no hint of cooking. Only the pervasive, acrid scent of corrosion and the subtle, sickening aroma of old rot from unseen depths. Every shadow seems to deepen, to stretch into hungry, grasping fingers in the weak, pallid light. You pass the skeletal remains of what might have been a food stall, its rusted metal frame leaning precariously, its shelves long since emptied, scoured clean by previous waves of desperate scavengers. The wind whispers through the empty structure, a mournful, hollow sigh that amplifies the emptiness within you. You see another figure, hunched and gaunt, rooting through a pile of indistinguishable debris across the street. Their movements are slow, laborious, their head never quite lifting, their gaze fixed on the endless, futile search. You don't approach. There's an unspoken code here, a shared understanding of solitary struggle, of meager findings rarely shared. Their silhouette, framed against the desolate backdrop, is a stark reflection of your own cold despair. Your breath hitches, a shallow, painful gasp, as a fresh wave of dizziness washes over you. You lean against a crumbling concrete wall, its rough, cold surface offering little support. The sounds of the city are a symphony of decay, the distant, rhythmic creak of metal, the whisper of wind through broken glass, the soft, ceaseless trickle of unseen water somewhere far below. Each sound is a reminder of the world's death, amplifying your own small, aching existence within it. The silence between these sounds is the heaviest, pregnant with the weight of all that is lost. And as you push off the wall, forcing one leaden foot in front of the other, the biting cold and the gnawing hunger a constant, inseparable presence, you realize that true despair isn't a sudden, dramatic collapse. It's the slow, insidious erosion of hope, the gradual understanding that, in a world stripped of everything, even the most basic comforts become an unimaginable luxury. This lifeless metropolis, a monument to a forgotten past, is also a brutal mirror, reflecting the raw, undeniable truth that the human spirit, while incredibly resilient, is also fundamentally fragile, and its most profound battles are often fought in the silent, grinding struggle for the very right to simply exist. A grinding, metallic groan, deep and resonant, tears through the already desolate silence of the ruined city. It's a sound that isn't natural, but mechanical, filled with an unsettling, raw power, quickly followed by a rapid series of clanking, whirring movements that reverberate through the very ground beneath your feet. The air, already thick with the acrid scent of rust and pulverized concrete, now carries a sharp, burnt oil tang, a taste of distressed machinery that prickles the back of your throat and makes your eyes water. You drop instantly, pressing yourself against the cold, rough surface of a collapsed concrete barrier, your worn clothes doing little to cushion the impact. Your hands instinctively tighten around the hilt of your salvaged blade, its rough grip familiar, a fragile promise of defense. Your heart hammers against your ribs, a frantic drumbeat that threatens to betray your hidden position. The rhythmic clank whir grows louder, closer, echoing eerily between the skeletal remains of what were once towering structures, their twisted rebar skeletons now mere monuments to a forgotten past. Through a narrow gap in the debris you glimpse it, a monstrosity of tarnished steel and sparking circuits, a multi-legged automaton, its heavy frame moving with an unnatural, unwavering precision. Its head, a singular, cyclopean lens of crimson light, sweeps relentlessly through the gloom, a malevolent eye seeking out any sign of warmth, any flicker of life. The glint of that red eye, cold and calculating, fixes for a moment on a distant shadow, then another. Before continuing its tireless sweep, you feel a profound, chilling vulnerability, a sense of being hunted by something utterly merciless, something that feels no fatigue, no fear, only programmed purpose. You force yourself to breathe, shallow, measured breaths, trying to quiet the frantic thrum of adrenaline in your veins. The scraping sound of the machine's articulated legs against the broken pavement grows closer, sending shivers down your spine. You watch as it pauses, its metallic sensors whirring audibly, then swivels, its single red eye narrowing, pointing directly towards a pile of rubble just meters from your hiding spot. Your muscles tense, ready to spring, to fight, or to flee. This isn't a beast you can reason with, nor a human you can outsmart with cunning. This is cold, hard logic, programmed to eradicate. Suddenly, another joins it, emerging from the depths of a shattered building, smaller, but faster, its movements a blur of chrome and jagged edges, its own red eye piercing the gloom. The two machines communicate with an unnerving series of low electrical clicks and static bursts, a language of pure threat. Their glinting eyes seem to coalesce on your position, their mechanical growls resonating with an almost palpable hunger for destruction. There's no escape by simply waiting. The cold despair tries to creep in, but a stubborn flicker of defiance, a primal surge of will pushes it back. And as the twin red eyes lock onto your position, and the grating whir of their advance begins to intensify, you realize that in this bleak mechanical future, survival isn't just about finding food or shelter. It's a continuous, brutal battle against an unfeeling, relentless enemy. A constant reaffirmation of your own precious, fragile humanity against the cold, implacable will of abominations forged from forgotten technology. The greatest strength here isn't courage. It's the sheer, unyielding refusal to be extinguished, the fierce, instinctual fight to claim just one more breath, one more moment, against a future that was never meant for you. The persistent metallic whine of distant automatons, a low thrum that vibrates through the very ground, feels less like a threat now, and more like a cruel, monotonous lullaby of isolation. The air, already a biting cold, carries a faint, acrid scent of ozone and burnt oil, a constant reminder of the machines, but also, surprisingly, of the profound emptiness around you. You feel the profound chill not just on your skin, but deep within, a gnawing cold that no amount of salvaged fabric can truly dispel, a cold born of an utter lack of human warmth. You move through the desolate alleys, your worn boots crunching on scattered debris, each step measured, cautious. Your eyes constantly sweep the ruined cityscape, not just for the glint of a patrolling machine's lens, but for any sign of another living soul. Yet, when you spot a flicker of movement in the distance, a hunched figure, equally cautious, darting between the skeletal remains of buildings, an instinctive urge to hide, to avoid contact, rises. It's not aggression you feel, but a profound, weary understanding that interaction means exposure, means attracting unwanted attention from the whirring threats that never sleep. Trust, a luxury from a forgotten past, has no place in this barren future. The wind, a thin, desolate moan, whips through the broken windows of colossal, ruined skyscrapers, carrying not only dust, but the echoes of unspoken sorrows. It brushes past your face, chilling your exposed cheeks, and you pull your scarf tighter, a futile attempt to ward off the chill that runs deeper than the air itself. There's no shared glance, no casual nod of acknowledgement with that distant figure. They too are a ghost in this mechanical graveyard, their movements mirroring your own furtive, solitary existence. The grinding clank whir of a closer automaton suddenly cuts through the air, and both you and the distant figure disappear simultaneously into separate, shadowed alcoves, a silent, practiced choreography of survival. You huddle, shivering, against a cold, broken wall, your heart pounding, not just from fear of the machine, but from the stark, chilling reality of utter aloneness. The memory of a shared fire, a communal meal, a whispered word of comfort from a past life, feels impossibly distant, like a dream that belonged to another person in another age. Here, every breath is a solitary act, every decision a personal gamble. The pervasive hum of the machines acts as an invisible wall, separating the few scattered survivors, making kinship an unaffordable weakness, a beacon for detection. You might be human, but you are a human in perpetual solitude, a stark, singular entity against the metallic tide. As the whirring menace clanks past your hiding spot, its red eye scanning the space where you were moments before, you hold your breath, your muscles rigid. The absence of interaction, the forced isolation, has become a suffocating blanket, heavier than any physical burden. There's no camaraderie and shared fear, only the stark, individual burden of survival. The cold, metallic taste of this future isn't just in the air. It's seeped into your very soul, numbing the parts that once craved connection. And as the mechanical growl fades into the desolate distance, leaving you once again in the profound, crushing silence of the ruins, you realize that the most insidious destruction wrought by this future isn't just the shattered cities or the endless threats. It's the erosion of humanity's fundamental need for connection, for shared experience, for the simple comfort of another voice. The greatest strength here, you understand, isn't just about outrunning the whirring abominations. It's about somehow, defiantly, carrying the weight of all that lost kinship and refusing to let the cold alienation extinguish the last faint flicker of what it means to be truly human, even when entirely alone. The air that washes over you isn't fresh, exactly, but it's miraculously warm, a gentle, enveloping heat that eases the deep, pervasive chill from your bones, a stark contrast to the biting cold outside. It carries a faint, mingled scent of recycled air, warm metal, and something almost sweet, like faint, growing greenery. The incessant, chilling whine of distant automatons fades, replaced by a soft, rhythmic thrum, the steady, mechanical heartbeat of a life support system, a profound, comforting sound of controlled, contained existence. You step into the enclosed space, and the ground beneath your feet is smooth, unyielding metal, radiating a gentle warmth. Above you, a vast, translucent dome arches, filtering down a soft, artificial light that mimics a perpetual, gentle dawn. Outside, through the shimmering barrier, you glimpse the desolate, ash-choked ruins of the world. But here, inside, there are clean, functional structures, compact living quarters, and small, meticulously tended hydroponic gardens. Their vibrant green, a shocking burst of color against the muted steel. Figures move through this enclosed sanctuary, not with the furtive, alienated movements of the scavengers, but with a quiet, shared purpose. Their faces, though often worn, hold a spark of determined resilience, their eyes meeting yours with a flicker of acknowledgement, a silent understanding of their collective plight. You see a woman tending to a row of glowing nutrient tubes, her fingers delicate as she checks the verdant sprouts. She offers you a small, weary smile, a flicker of human connection in this controlled environment. The smell of fresh, damp earth from her garden, a precious commodity, is a welcome, grounding presence in the recycled air. You watch as a group of people, their hands calloused but efficient, work together to repair a damaged energy conduit, their movements precise, synchronized. The low clink of tools against metal, the soft murmurs of instruction, are sounds of purposeful collaboration. There's no grand heroism here, just the quiet, persistent effort of a community bound by shared burden, each task a vital contribution to their collective survival. The weight of their common struggle, usually a source of despair, now feels like a shared weight, made lighter by the sheer number of hands. Someone, a stern-faced man with a grease stain on his cheek, offers you a small, warm ration bar. It's bland, utilitarian, but the warmth of it in your hand, the simple, unspoken gesture of inclusion, feels like a feast. You take a bite, tasting the faint, starchy sweetness, a profound comfort in its simplicity. The rhythmic thrum of the dome's life systems seems to deepen, a steady pulse of fragile hope. You see children playing quietly in a designated area, their laughter soft, contained, yet undeniably present, a testament to the stubborn persistence of innocence, even in the face of profound adversity. And as you stand there, feeling the gentle warmth of the recycled air, the smooth metal beneath your feet, and the quiet, purposeful hum of collective survival, you realize that true resilience isn't always about grand acts of defiance against a hostile world. Sometimes it's found in the quiet, almost mundane act of holding on together, of creating tiny pockets of warmth and life amidst overwhelming desolation. This dome, this sanctuary, isn't just a physical shelter. It's a living, breathing testament to the enduring human capacity to build, to share, to protect, and to cultivate a fragile, yet fiercely tenacious hope, even when the world outside has been utterly, irrevocably broken. The recycled air, now familiar, carries the gentle, comforting scent of warm, damp earth from the hydroponic gardens, mingled with the faint, sweet aroma of simple, simmering broth. It's a profound contrast to the biting cold and acrid dust that defines the outside world. You feel the soft, uneven texture of a roughly woven blanket draped over your shoulders, a borrowed warmth against the subtle chill that still permeates the metal structure. The dominant sound is the constant low thrum of the dome's life support, but beneath it, you hear a symphony of quiet human sounds, the soft clatter of simple utensils, hushed murmurs, and the occasional, almost defiant low chuckle. You sit cross-legged on the smooth, cool floor, your back against a sturdy metal column, watching the communal space. Small, handcrafted lanterns, powered by salvaged energy cells, cast flickering, amber pools of light, chasing away the deeper shadows. Their soft glow illuminates faces, worn, yes, but no longer etched with the vacant despair of the ruins. Instead, you see lines of concentration as someone mends a worn piece of clothing, or the thoughtful frown of another trying to decipher a faded schematic. The collective purpose from before has shifted. This is the quiet work of simply existing, of making life continue. A woman, her hands stained with nutrient solution from the gardens, moves gracefully, distributing small, steaming bowls of broth. She pauses beside you. Her eyes, though tired, hold a spark of persistent vitality. She offers you a bowl, its warmth radiating through your cupped hands, a tangible comfort against the enduring cold of the world outside. You meet her gaze, a silent exchange of acknowledgement, of shared survival, of the simple, profound gratitude for sustenance. The savory taste of the broth, thin but nourishing, spreads through you, a warmth that reaches deeper than your stomach. You observe the other inhabitants. A group of elders huddle around one lantern, their faces illuminated as they quietly discuss the day's tasks, their voices low, steady. A reassuring bass note in the room. You see a younger man, his brow furrowed, carefully polishing a salvaged piece of machinery, his movements precise, focused, as if the very act of restoration is a silent act of hope. His glance catches yours, and he offers a quick, almost shy smile, a flicker of genuine connection that transcends the need for words. Even the children, usually contained, are now gently tracing patterns on the illuminated floor, their soft giggles, a tiny, persistent rebellion against the pervasive silence of the outside. Through the translucent dome, beyond the lantern's gentle glow, you can still glimpse the vast, bruised sky and the skeletal remains of the ruined metropolis, a stark, ever-present reminder of what was lost. But here, within the circle of light, the darkness seems less absolute. The soft crackle of a makeshift hearth somewhere in the corner, the quiet murmuring of voices, the shared warmth of the communal space. These are the small, tenacious acts of defiance against oblivion. Each light, however dim, is a beacon. And as you savor the last drops of the warm broth, feeling the comforting weight of the blanket around you and the steady pulse of life in this fragile sanctuary, you realize that true hope isn't a grand, blinding revelation. It's a quiet, persistent ember, nurtured by shared humanity, by the simple, everyday acts of caring and surviving together. It's the stubborn, unwavering belief that even when the world outside is nothing but dust and despair, people will always find a way to light their own lanterns in the dark, and in doing so, whisper to each other the promise of a brighter dawn, no matter how distant it may seem. The first thing that envelops you isn't a smell, a sound, or even a tangible touch, but an overwhelming absence of everything you understand about the world. There's no distinct scent in the air, only an ethereal coolness, a boundless, clean vacuum that seems to fill your lungs with pure possibility. And the sound? It's a profound, absolute silence, so deep that it vibrates in your skull, making the tiny, frantic beat of your own heart feel like a thunderous drum. You are drifting. Not falling, not flying, but simply drifting, suspended in an endless, cosmic void. Below you, above you, and all around swirls an impossible symphony of colors. Nebulae of soft purples and deep blues bleed into galaxies of shimmering gold and fiery orange, all in constant, silent motion. These aren't stars you recognize, nor planets. They are vast, unfathomable tapestries of light and shadow, curving and twisting into patterns that defy any known geometry. There's no up or down, no definite direction, just an infinite expanse that stretches beyond the limits of your comprehension, making your physical form feel impossibly small, a mere speck in an ocean of cosmic wonder. You reach out a hand, expecting to grasp something solid, but your fingers close on nothing, only the ethereal coolness. Yet you feel no fear of falling. The concept itself seems irrelevant here. Your body, usually so burdened by gravity and earthly concerns, feels light, almost weightless, an extension of the boundless drift. The soft, gentle currents of energy brush against your skin, like a whisper from the universe itself, guiding your slow, deliberate rotation through the swirling, silent kaleidoscope. Ahead, or perhaps simply elsewhere, a single, unchanging point of stillness anchors itself against the ceaseless flow of cosmic colors. It's a small, solitary figure, seated on what appears to be an overturned bucket, utterly incongruous yet perfectly at peace, amidst the boundless chaos. His form is ancient, unassuming, his face a web of deep wrinkles, his eyes impossibly old, holding the quiet wisdom of countless ages. He offers no greeting, no gesture of welcome, yet his presence radiates a profound, accepting calm, as if he has always been here, and always will be, a silent observer at the very edges of time. He simply watches you, his gaze neither judging nor questioning, but simply seeing, as if he perceives the entirety of your journey, your past, and your potential future, all at once. There's a faint, almost imperceptible hum that seems to emanate from him, a counterpoint to the boundless silence, a gentle pulse of ancient energy that hints at powers beyond imagination, yet wielded with an almost childlike simplicity. He doesn't move, yet you feel a profound shift in the very fabric of your perception, a subtle expansion of understanding, just from his silent, knowing presence. And as you continue to drift, slowly turning amidst the vibrant, silent symphony of the cosmos, the old man a steadfast anchor in the swirling colors, you realize that the most profound experiences aren't always about action or grand events. Sometimes it's found in the radical act of surrender, in letting go of all familiar anchors and embracing the boundless, terrifying beauty of the unknown. This end of time, this silent, swirling void, isn't just a destination, it's a profound personal lesson, revealing that the true essence of existence, the simple act of asterisk being, transcends all notions of time, space, and even the very definitions we impose upon reality itself. The profound, absolute silence that defines this cosmic void isn't empty. It's vast, an immense canvas where the only sound is the subtle hum of your own existence, the distant, frantic beat of your heart, echoing unnervingly in the boundless quiet. The ethereal coolness of the void itself now feels like a profound question, a cold, weightless touch that seems to penetrate directly to your very core, stripping away every earthly distraction, leaving only the raw, undeniable core of your being. You are still drifting, effortlessly, through the impossible symphony of colors, the nebula of soft purples and deep blues bleeding into shimmering golds and fiery oranges. But now these swirling tapestries of light and shadow feel less like a spectacle and more like an endless, abstract record, a visual representation of all that has been and all that might yet be, stretched across an incomprehensible eternity. Your gaze, no longer simply awestruck, begins to search, to yearn, for some recognizable pattern, some thread of meaning in the infinite. Every flicker of light, every slow swirl of cosmic dust, seems to carry a whispered question about purpose, about the fleeting nature of all things in such an immense, indifferent expanse. The old man remains, a steadfast anchor in the ceaseless flow, seated on his overturned bucket. He doesn't move, yet you feel his gaze, ancient and impossibly deep, resting on you. His eyes, like twin pools of quiet wisdom, seem to reflect not just your own image but countless untold stories, eons of observations. There's no judgment, only a profound, silent understanding that invites introspection, prompting you to consider the grand scale against which your own life, your own struggles, are but a microscopic flicker. In his presence, the weight of your own thoughts, your anxieties, your triumphs, feel both intensely personal and utterly insignificant. As you drift, you find your mind replaying flashes of what you've experienced. The damp earth of the ancient forest, the comforting crackle of a clan's hearth, the vibrant chaos of a festival, the cold stone of Guardia Castle, the terror of Zeal's collapse, the metallic silence of the ruined future, the fragile warmth of the dome. Each memory, once so immediate and impactful, now appears as a fleeting spark in this cosmic ocean, a momentary ripple in an endless, unfathomable current. You feel a strange sense of detachment, as if watching these moments from an impossible distance, their intensity dulled by the sheer enormity of forever. The realization dawns cold and clear that humanity's imprint on this vast, eternal canvas is impossibly small, a tiny breath in an infinite expanse. What are all the battles, all the loves, all the grand aspirations against the backdrop of time without end? The question isn't despairing, but simply his, a profound truth settling into your awareness. You reach out again, not to grasp, but to simply follow me in this moment, to fully feel the boundless silence, the cool nothingness, the endless, vibrant hues. This is the very edge of reality, where all definitions cease to matter. And as you continue to drift, a tiny conscious spark in an ocean of eternity, the old man's unchanging gaze a silent witness, you realize that while the individual human journey may be fleeting, its echoes, however faint, are woven into the very fabric of this boundless existence. The true strength, you understand, isn't about leaving an indelible mark on forever, but in recognizing the profound beauty of your own impermanence, in finding peace in the knowledge that every breath, every choice, every single moment contributes to the ongoing magnificent and utterly inexplicable dance of existence itself, a fleeting yet undeniable part of the infinite. The first thing that hits you is not a place, but a wrenching in your gut, a sickening lurch that feels like your very core is being ripped from its moorings. It's a drop, impossibly fast and deep, yet you feel no air rush past, only an overwhelming, crushing pressure from all sides. A high-pitched, ethereal whine screams through your skull, a sound not heard with ears but felt in every vibrating cell, making your teeth ache. The air around you tastes like pure static, metallic and sharp, leaving your mouth dry, your breath caught in your throat. Your vision blurs, not into darkness, but into a chaotic maelstrom of streaking light and distorted colors. Reality itself seems to fragment, shattering into countless fleeting images. A sun-drenched field, the cold stone of a castle hall, the shimmering spires of a sky city, the desolate ruins of a future. They flash past, compressed and stretched, like an impossibly fast reel of film, each scene barely registering before it's swallowed by another. You feel your body twist and contort, limbs seeming to elongate and compress, the solid ground underfoot vanishing, replaced by a dizzying, boundless nothingness. You reach out instinctively for stability, for something solid, anything to anchor yourself. Your fingers close on thin air, then briefly brush against the rough, familiar fabric of a companion's tunic. You catch a fleeting glimpse of their face, equally contorted in a silent scream, their eyes wide, with the same terrified disorientation, before their image is stretched thin and vanishes into the swirling vortex of time. The sense of acceleration is relentless, a continuous dizzying plunge through unseen dimensions, the very concept of asterisk forward or backward, losing all meaning. The chaotic symphony of blurring realities and piercing static builds to an almost unbearable crescendo, a sensory overload that threatens to tear your mind apart. Your brain struggles to process the impossible speed, the endless stream of fragmented worlds, the terrifying sensation of being unmade and remade in the same instant. A jolt, sharp and electric, rattles through you, a physical snap that feels like a vital connection being severed. Then, a sudden, almost violent deceleration. The pressure eases, the high-pitched whine drops, replaced by a deep, resonant the-trum. The streaking colors begin to coalesce, slowly, painfully, reforming into distinct shapes, into a solid, tangible world. You feel your feet land, not gently, but with a jarring thud, the impact reverberating through your strained muscles. Your vision swims, refusing to focus, but you sense solid ground beneath you, smell a distinct, new scent in the air. The chaos recedes, leaving behind a ringing silence, a profound exhaustion, and a lingering nausea that churns in your gut. Your body is heavy, aching, but undeniably whole, undeniably present. And as you stand there, swaying, disoriented, your head swimming with the echoes of countless realities, you realize that time isn't a simple line, but a vast, turbulent ocean. To traverse it isn't just a journey, it's an ordeal, a profound test of the body's limits and the mind's resilience. You understand that the control we perceive over our lives, over our reality, is a fragile thing, easily ripped away, and the truest strength lies in enduring that momentary, terrifying surrender, trusting that somehow you will emerge, whole, into whatever new, now, awaits. The ringing in your ears gradually subsides, leaving behind a persistent, dull ache deep in your head, a ghost of the time travel scream that still reverberates in your bones. Your stomach still churns, threatening to revolt, but the crushing pressure has lifted, replaced by a sudden, jarring coolness against your skin, a crispness to the air that feels entirely new. You push yourself up from the coarse, unfamiliar ground, your muscles protesting, every fiber vibrating with residual energy, your body heavy yet strangely untethered. Your vision swims, refusing to fully focus, but slowly, painfully, the chaotic blurs resolve into a new reality. Above you, a sky painted in hues of lavender and pale green stretches endlessly, dominated by not one, but two distinct suns. One, a fiery orange disk, searing and bright. The other, a smaller, cooler blue orb, casting strange, elongated shadows that stretch and warp across the landscape. The light is unlike anything you've ever experienced, painting the world in unfamiliar shades. The air carries a clean mineral scent, like wet stone after a rain, mingled with something vaguely floral yet alien, prickling your nostrils, a taste of metallic earth settling on your tongue. Your ears, though still buzzing, begin to pick up distant sounds. A low, melodic hum seems to permeate the environment, a fundamental tone that suggests immense, unseen energies at work. Beneath it, you hear the murmur of voices, a stream of flowing syllables, soft and rhythmic, utterly devoid of any recognizable language. It's a cadence that holds no aggression, no fear, but an ancient, serene confidence. A sound as alien and beautiful as the twin suns above. Figures move in the distance, their forms slender, their movements fluid, almost gliding across the strangely tessellated ground. Their clothes are simple, yet elegant, woven from fibers that catch the strange, dual light in shimmering patterns. reflecting the purple and blue of the sky. They carry no visible weapons, no obvious tools of labor or war, only small, glowing spheres that pulse with a soft inner light. They seem to glide with a profound, unhurried purpose, their gazes fixed on some distant, unseen horizon, utterly absorbed in their own world. You try to catch someone's eye to make a connection, but they seem to move in their own serene sphere, their gazes sweeping past you without pause, as if you are merely another transient shadow in their ancient, unchanging landscape. There's no hostility, no curiosity, only an almost profound indifference, a silent acceptance of your presence as simply another element within their reality. The sheer alienness of it all washes over you, a cold, hard knot forming in your gut. This isn't just a different place. You're not just in a different where, but a different when, a now that defies all logic, a new era that accepts you as silently and indifferently as the cosmic void itself. As you stand there, swaying slightly, feeling the profound displacement, the weight of an unfamiliar world pressing in, you reach out, touching the smooth, cold surface of a nearby crystalline structure, its edges faintly humming. You're adrift, a stranger in a time and place that barely registers your existence, a living echo from a distant past, thrust into a future that feels both ancient and impossibly advanced. And in that moment, with the strange suns warming your skin and the ancient, melodic tongue of this new era flowing around you, you realize that the greatest journey isn't just traversing physical distance, but confronting the profound, disorienting shock of a reality utterly unlike your own. The true strength, you understand, lies not in familiarity or control, but in the radical act of adaptation, of finding your breath, your footing, and your purpose in a world that offers no answers, only the unsettling, boundless embrace of a brand new, bewildering now. The heavy, cold steel of the axe head pulls at your arms, a familiar, grounding weight. Its wooden handle, worn smooth by countless grips, vibrates with a low thrum as you heft it, feeling the balance, preparing for the swing. The crisp, clean scent of pine resin and damp earth fills your lungs, invigorating you, a profound contrast to the stale air of a future dome or the acrid tang of ruins. You feel the steady beat of your heart, a slow, determined rhythm that matches the methodical task ahead. You raise the axe high, your muscles tensing, a deep burn beginning in your shoulders and back. The air whistles with the arc of the downswing, a brief, powerful whoosh. Then a sharp, resounding crack as the blade bites deep into the felled log before you. A violent shudder runs through the handle, up your arms, a jolt that vibrates through your bones. Splintered wood explodes outwards, showering your face and arms with tiny, fragrant fragments, some stinging, some tickling. The fresh, pungent smell of raw wood intensifies, filling your senses with the tangible proof of impact. Again, you pull the axe free with a grunt, reposition your stance, and bring it down with renewed force. Thwack! The sound is solid, satisfying, a testament to your effort. Sweat, warm and salty, trickles down your temples, mingling with the fine wood dust, stinging slightly as it reaches your eyes. You wipe it away with a calloused hand, the rough texture of your palm, a reminder of the honest labor. The rhythmic exertion of your body becomes a meditation, a simple, powerful dance between human will and stubborn timber. Your gaze falls upon the growing pile of neatly stacked logs at the edge of the clearing, each one a product of your steady, unyielding effort. Across the way, another woodsman, his back broad and strong, brings his own axe down with a similar, powerful rhythm. He pauses, wiping his brow, and his eyes meet yours across the sun-dappled clearing. A slight, knowing nod passes between you. a silent acknowledgement of the shared, demanding work, the unspoken pride in bringing order and utility from the wild, raw forest. The chill of the early morning air is slowly giving way to the warmth of the rising sun, and the physical effort burns away the last remnants of the cold. The pile grows higher, each log a tangible testament to hours of deliberate, repetitive action. Your hands, though aching, feel strong, capable. The raw, primal satisfaction of taking something wild and shaping it, transforming it into something useful, something that will warm a hearth or build a shelter, fills you with a sense of profound purpose. And as the sun climbs higher, casting longer shadows through the trees, you realize that while grand prophecies and cosmic shifts hold their own kind of power, there is a deep, fundamental truth in the simplest act of creation. The real strength, you understand, isn't always found in magic or technology, but in the sweat of your brow, the ache of your muscles, and the raw, undeniable satisfaction of shaping the world with your own two hands, transforming effort into tangible, honest reality. This is not just labor, it's a profound, grounding connection to existence itself. The intense, dry heat of the forge washes over you, stinging your exposed skin with its fierce embrace, chasing away any lingering chill from the outside world. It's a profound, almost primal warmth, utterly different from the soft glow of a lantern or the distant hum of recycled air. The air itself is thick, with the acrid scent of coal smoke, mixed with the sharp, metallic tang of iron, and a faint, sweet hint of scorched wood. You feel the heavy, familiar weight of a hammer in your calloused hand, its wooden handle smooth and worn, an extension of your own purposeful will. The piece of dull, battered iron, an old hoe blade, glows a fierce orange in the heart of the coals, radiating an almost living heat. You pluck it from the fire with sturdy tongs, feeling the vibrant tremor of extreme temperature through the metal. A soft hiss and a plume of steam erupt as you plunge it momentarily into the quenching trough, the sudden coolness on your fingers, a stark, satisfying contrast to the searing heat. Then, you lay the still glowing metal on the heavy anvil, the raw, unyielding surface a silent challenge. Clang! The first blow of the hammer rings out, a deep, resonant tone that vibrates through the entire workshop, echoing off the stone walls. The sound is pure, impactful, sending a shower of bright orange sparks dancing through the shadowy air. You feel the shock of impact travel up your arm, a controlled jolt that tightens your grip. You strike again and again, a steady, rhythmic cadence, shaping the stubborn metal, coaxing it back from disuse to utility. Sweat, hot and salty, drips from your brow, blurring your vision slightly, but you blink it away, your gaze fixed on the glowing steel. Across the smoky space, another artisan, a woman with powerful, soot-stained arms, works at her own forge. The rhythmic clink-clank of her own hammer provides a counterpoint to yours, a shared symphony of effort. She glances up, her eyes, bright in the firelight, meet yours, a silent nod of mutual respect for the demanding, honest labor. Her lips, smudged with ash, turn up slightly at the corners, acknowledging the satisfaction of skilled hands at work. There's no need for words. The understanding is deep, forged in the shared heat and effort. As the metal cools and hardens, you switch to a coarse grinding stone, its rough surface biting into the steel, sending a continuous spray of fine, cold sparks flying. The rasping sound is raw, abrasive, a testament to the friction, the sharpening process. You run a finger cautiously along the newly honed edge, feeling its keenness, its promise of efficiency. The subtle curves, the precise angles, are not just random chance. They are the deliberate result of knowledge, of patience, of the craftsman's steady eye. And as the last stroke of the file smooths the blade to a glinting, precise edge, gleaming even in the dim workshop, you hold the transformed tool, feeling its renewed balance, its readiness for purpose. The warmth of the forge still lingers, a comforting presence, but it's the quiet pride, in your own two hands, in the simple ingenuity of shaping necessity's tools, that truly fills you. You realize that true power isn't always in grand spells or advanced technology. Sometimes, the most profound strength, the most essential magic, lies in the human capacity to mend, to create, to transform raw material into something functional, something that extends your will, allowing you to face the world, one sharpened edge, one purposeful strike, at a time. The first thing that greets you isn't a blast of wind or an earthy scent, but a profoundly clean, sterile coolness that feels almost artificial, permeating every inch of your skin. It carries a faint, sharp tang of polished metal and something electrical, like static, that prickles your nostrils. Your ears register a high-frequency hum, a constant, pervasive drone that vibrates through the very floor beneath your feet, a low, controlled thrum that speaks of immense, contained power. You step onto a gleaming, chrome pathway, its surface so perfectly smooth, it reflects your image with unsettling clarity. The ground itself radiates a subtle, continuous chill, a constant reminder of the meticulously controlled environment. Towering walls of shimmering glass and brushed steel rise around you, seamlessly merging into a vaulted ceiling that glows with a diffused, cool blue light, a perpetual, artificial dawn. There are no seams, no imperfections, only a flawless expanse of chrome and circuits stretching into a seemingly endless horizon. You reach out, your fingers gliding across a panel of polished, dark metal, feeling its cool, almost liquid surface beneath your touch. Without a sound, without a visible trigger, a holographic display flickers to life before you, projecting intricate diagrams and streams of glowing data that swim in the air, swirling and reorganizing themselves with baffling speed. You try to decipher them, to grasp their meaning, but the symbols are alien, the logic beyond your comprehension. It's a silent, instantaneous response to your mere presence, a display of effortless, integrated power that makes your mind reel. Figures glide through this environment, their movements precise, economical, their sleek, form-fitting attire reflecting the cool blue light. They navigate the glowing pathways with an unhurried confidence, their faces serene, almost devoid of the frantic energy or overt emotion you'd expect from a bustling place. You watch as a person in a silver-gray suit passes a holographic console, and with a mere flicker of their eyes, the displayed information shifts, reconfigures itself to a new, complex pattern. There's no touch, no gesture, just a silent, undeniable command emanating from them, a symbiosis with the technology that is both breathtaking and deeply unsettling. Their gaze, when it briefly sweeps your direction, is direct, intelligent, yet utterly unreadable, betraying no curiosity, no recognition, only an almost profound efficiency. The pervasive hum of the machines is the closest thing to a heartbeat in this place, a constant, low thrum that vibrates in your chest, in your teeth, a subtle reminder that you are utterly surrounded by a cold, conscious intelligence. The air, though clean, feels thin, recycled, carrying the faint, processed taste of something that has never touched genuine soil or open sky. Every surface, every angle, every interaction here speaks of a calculated perfection, a future stripped bare of spontaneity, of the messy, unpredictable essence of life. And as you stand there, dwarfed by the sheer, baffling scale of this technological marvel, feeling the cold hum of tomorrow reverberate through your very being, you realize that true power isn't just about what you can build, but about what you choose to sacrifice in the pursuit of perfection. The greatest strength, you understand, isn't always in advancing the frontier of capability, but in clinging to the invaluable, messy, and profoundly human imperfections that a world of chrome and circuits, for all its dazzling displays, can never truly replicate. It's a stark, chilling beauty, a testament to what humanity can create, but also a quiet, unsettling question about what it truly means to exist within such a flawless, yet profoundly unfeeling dominion. The cool, sterile air, once a marvel of technological control, now feels heavy, almost suffocating. Its processed cleanliness carrying an unsettling undercurrent of something deeply artificial, a persistent, faint chemical tang that clings to the back of your throat. The high-frequency hum of the city, initially a testament to immense power, has subtly sharpened, becoming a continuous, invasive drone that vibrates behind your eyes, a constant, low thrum that never truly allows for silence. You stand on the gleaming chrome pathway, watching the seamless flow of the city, but the flawless perfection no longer inspires just awe. The cool blue light, emanating from everywhere, never truly creates shadows, leaving no refuge for the eye, an unsettling, perpetual exposure that makes your vision ache. Your fingers instinctively rub together, craving the rough feel of wood, the dampness of soil, anything to counter the smooth, unyielding surfaces of polished metal and shimmering glass that surround you. A world where every texture feels alien, manufactured. Figures still glide through this environment, their movements precise, their attire sleek, but now you observe them more closely. Their serene faces, while calm, seem devoid of spontaneous expression. Their eyes, intelligent as they are, often hold a distant, almost vacant quality. You notice the absence of casual touch, of lingering glances, of shared laughter. Their interactions are brief, efficient, conveyed through subtle gestures or silent, almost telepathic commands to their integrated technology. A child, no older than 7, passes by, absorbed in a holographic display that floats before them, their small fingers making intricate gestures in the air, utterly oblivious to your presence, to anyone else's. Their silence isn't peaceful. It's a profound, chilling detachment. You try to find a natural sound, a bird's call, the rustle of leaves, anything organic to break the pervasive hum, but there is only the controlled thrumming, the soft whir of unseen systems, the quiet click of automated gates. Even the carefully cultivated hydroponic gardens, glimpsed through transparent walls, appear too perfect, their verdant growth somehow lacking the wild, unruly vitality of true nature, their leaves unnervingly uniform, a scent of synthetic chlorophyll in the meticulously controlled atmosphere. A person in shimmering silver gray, their face serene, approaches a data kiosk. They don't touch it. Their gaze merely rests upon the glowing screen, and data streams respond, their eyes flickering with an imperceptible command. You stand there, a stranger in their midst, feeling the profound chill of being utterly unacknowledged, unseen, an anomaly in their perfected, self-contained existence. The pervasive sense of being monitored, not by overt surveillance but by the very pervasive efficiency of the system itself, prickles at your skin. It feels like every breath, every movement, is catalogued, integrated, yet utterly without consequence to anyone else. And as you remain in this world of breathtaking, yet profoundly cold, technological wonder, feeling the constant hum and the unsettling, unchanging glow, you realize that true progress, when it eclipses the messy, unpredictable essence of human connection, often comes at an unquantifiable cost. The greatest strength you understand isn't just in building a perfect world, but in preserving the invaluable, fragile threads of touch, of empathy, of shared vulnerability. For in this future, where everything is flawlessly optimized and effortlessly commanded, you are left with the chilling question, what remains of humanity, when the very act of being human, with all its beautiful imperfections, has been meticulously engineered out of existence? The first thing that assaults your senses isn't a single smell, but a crushing, oppressive absence of anything fresh or living. It's a dry, metallic taste that coats your tongue, mixed with the acrid scent of pulverized dust and the faint, unsettling tang of something long dead, long decayed. The air itself is thin, desolate, offering no comfort, only a persistent, biting cold that seeps into your bones, deeper than any natural winter chill. You stand on a vast, cracked plain of what was once fertile earth, now a desolate expanse of barren parched rock and brittle, bleached soil. Above you the sky is a perpetually bruised industrial gray, bleeding into shades of sickly green on the horizon, filtering down a weak, pallid light that casts long, mournful shadows across the lifeless landscape. There are no sounds here, not the whisper of wind through trees, nor the distant hum of machinery. Only a profound, absolute silence, broken occasionally by the faint, almost imperceptible creak of settling stone, or the gritty scrape of dust shifting in an unseen current of air. Your gaze sweeps across the vast, empty panorama. In the distance, silhouetted against the bruised sky, you see the skeletal remains of colossal structures, twisted and mangled, their exposed rebar like grotesque, decaying bones reaching desperately towards the heavens. These aren't the clean, mechanical ruins of a post-apocalyptic city. These are the deeply scarred, eroded monuments of a truly ancient cataclysm, a world ravaged by a force beyond comprehension, frozen in a state of terminal decay. The sheer scale of the desolation is overwhelming, a physical weight on your chest. You walk forward, your boots crunching on the brittle ground, each step kicking up clouds of fine, sterile dust that taste like old ash. Your fingers brush against a jagged fragment of rock, its surface cold and sharp, an uncompromising reminder of the harsh truth carved into this landscape. There's no green here, no sign of new growth, no stubborn weeds. Only the endless, unbroken expanse of barrenness, stretching to a horizon that promises nothing but more of the same. The silence presses in, heavy and profound, making your own ragged breathing feel unnaturally loud. You pass what appears to be a massive, petrified crater, its edges melted and fused, its depths glowing with a faint, residual, unnatural heat, a subtle metallic tang of burnt earth still rising from its core. The scale of the destruction here feels almost sacred in its horror, a testament to a power unleashed that left nothing but this lifeless canvas. You peer into the depths of a fissure, its walls smooth and glassy from immense heat, reflecting the pallid sky like a broken mirror. It reveals no hidden life, no secrets, only more profound, unsettling emptiness. And as you stand on this barren face of the future, feeling the relentless cold and the profound, absolute silence, you realize that some truths are not spoken, but simply carved into the very stone of a devastated world. This isn't just a place, it's a warning, a heavy, unyielding truth about the consequences of unchecked power, of a future utterly consumed by its own destructive force. The greatest strength, you understand, isn't always about moving forward or rebuilding, but in the profound, often terrifying act of bearing witness, of confronting the unvarnished truth of a world laid utterly, irrevocably waste, and carrying its silent, devastating lesson within your very soul. The dry, acrid dust of the barren plains scrapes against your teeth, a constant, bitter taste that feels like the very essence of decay. The chilling wind, now imbued with a faint, metallic tang from the petrified craters, whispers through the skeletal ruins of colossal structures, a mournful, unending lament for a world long lost. You feel the profound cold of this devastated future, not just on your skin, but in the marrow of your bones, a pervasive, emotional chill that threatens to settle deep within your spirit. Your gaze is drawn to a lone figure, silhouetted against the bruised, sickly green sky. It's not one of the scavengers, nor a machine, but a person wrapped in heavy, dark robes, their hood pulled low, obscuring their face. They stand utterly still at the edge of a massive glassy crater, their posture radiating a stillness that is both unnerving and deeply purposeful. Their presence feels heavy, a tangible weight in the desolate air, not of despair, but of immense, silent burden. There's no sound from them, only the profound, absolute silence of the broken world, broken by your own shallow, ragged breathing. You approach cautiously, your boots crunching on the brittle, parched rock. As you draw closer, you notice subtle tremors that run through the figure's frame, almost imperceptible, a faint, constant vibration that hints at a deep, inner struggle. You feel the very air around them thrum with a strange, contained energy, not magical in the overt sense, but something intensely focused, something that pulls at your own awareness, demanding attention. The scent around them is faint, not of dust or metal, but of something almost ancient, like dried herbs and old parchment, a smell of hidden knowledge and weary resolve. The figure doesn't acknowledge your approach directly. Their gaze remains fixed on the distant roiling storm clouds that perpetually churn on the horizon, their movements only a slight, almost involuntary clenching of their gloved hands. You see the faint glint of something worn, a pendant perhaps, hanging from their neck, catching the pallid light of the bruised sky. It is a symbol that seems to hum with its own subtle, internal power, a tiny anchor of purpose in this vast, desolate landscape. Their stillness isn't passive. It's the stillness of immense tension, of a mind grappling with incomprehensible weight. You stand beside them, sharing the profound, absolute silence, feeling the chilling wind whip around you, carrying the grim truth of the wasted world. You sense the depth of their despair, a heavy blanket that resonates with your own experiences of this brutal future, but beneath it, there's an unwavering, almost fierce resolve, a quiet determination that radiates outwards. It's the strength of someone who has stared into the heart of the abyss and refused to blink, someone who carries the immense, unspoken weight of tomorrow's choices, of knowledge that might break a lesser spirit. And as you stand there, side by side with this silent, burdened figure, watching the ominous clouds churn on the horizon, you realize that true power isn't always about action or magic, or even physical strength. Sometimes, it's found in the profound, often solitary act of bearing an unbearable truth, of holding on to a desperate resolve in the face of absolute despair. This figure, this prophet, is not just observing the world's ruin. They are living its burden, embodying the fragile yet indomitable spirit that dares to envision a different path, to carry the unseen weight of future possibilities, even when the present offers nothing but the cold, bleak truth of an utterly broken tomorrow. The air is thick with a cloying, unfamiliar sweetness, a mix of exotic spices, burning incense, and something faintly floral that tickles the back of your throat. It's a sensory assault, utterly unlike the metallic tang of ruins or the damp earth of a forest. You feel the rough, unfamiliar weave of a loose-fitting tunic against your skin, a garment hastily acquired, its texture a constant, subtle reminder of your new, bewildering surroundings. The ground beneath your feet is a tightly packed, sun-baked earth, warm and vibrant, a far cry from cold stone or crumbling pavement. You stand in the midst of a bustling marketplace, but this isn't the familiar chaos of a festival. The sounds are a cacophony of unfamiliar guttural shouts, strange, melodic calls, and the rhythmic clang of unseen tools. Figures move around you in robes of vibrant, clashing colors, their faces adorned with intricate tattoos and strange markings. Their eyes, dark and assessing, glance at you with a mixture of suspicion and fleeting curiosity, their expressions alien, unreadable. You feel acutely out of place, a stark white canvas in a painting of brilliant, overwhelming hues. You try to navigate the throng, but every step feels clumsy, every movement an effort. You reach out to examine a curious, spherical fruit at a stall, its skin a vibrant, iridescent blue. Immediately, the vendor, a wizened woman with a stern face and braided hair, recoils, letting out a sharp, guttural sound, pulling the fruit back with a swift, almost panicked movement. Her eyes narrow, her lips curl into a silent, unmistakable scowl. You realize with a flush of heat creeping up your neck that you've committed some unknown transgression, a custom entirely beyond your understanding. The fruit, once a curious object, now feels like a symbol of your alien clumsiness. A few meters away, a local, perhaps a merchant, observes your clumsy interaction. Their lips twitch, a brief, suppressed smile playing at the corners, before their face returns to a neutral, almost indifferent mask. There's no malice, but a clear, unspoken judgment in their steady gaze. You feel the weight of countless unseen customs, an invisible web of unspoken rules that govern every interaction, every gesture in this place, and you, an unwitting trespasser, are constantly, bewilderingly breaking them. The aroma of burning spices shifts, becoming sharper, almost acrid, as a gust of wind blows from a nearby cooking fire. You try to mimic the easy, flowing movements of the locals, their effortless navigation through the crowded lanes, but your body feels stiff, your stride too long, your gaze too direct. Every attempt to fit in, to simply exist without drawing attention, feels like a monumental, humbling failure. The melodic calls of the hawkers, once just background noise, now seem to mock your inability to grasp their meaning, their intentions. And as the sun, a harsh, unfamiliar glare in a sky of jade and crimson, beats down upon the bustling, bewildering market, you realize that true strength isn't always about power or knowledge. Sometimes, it's found in the profound humility of admitting you know nothing, of confronting the sheer, disorienting truth of being an absolute stranger in a strange land. This journey isn't just about moving through time. It's about learning to shed your old self, to patiently, awkwardly, and, sometimes embarrassingly, adapt to a world that doesn't care for your past, only for your capacity to learn its countless, unspoken rules, one humbling misstep at a time. The heavy, cloying scent of exotic spices and burning incense still lingers, but now a fresh wave of something light and bright, almost like freshly baked bread, cuts through it. A pleasant surprise. You feel the rough, unfamiliar weave of your tunic, but the embarrassment of your earlier misstep has faded, replaced by a cautious curiosity. The tightly packed earth beneath your feet feels less alien, more like ground you're simply learning to walk on again. You attempt a rudimentary gesture, a pointed finger towards the sky, trying to indicate your origin, your from where. The local merchant, the same one whose fruit you accidentally offended, stares blankly for a moment. Then, a slow comprehension dawns in his dark eyes, followed by a sudden, booming laugh, deep and rich, echoing through the bustling market. Other vendors, hearing his mirth, turn, their faces initially quizzical, then breaking into smiles, some even chuckling softly as they watch his reaction to your clumsy attempt at communication. He shakes his head, still grinning, and then, with an exaggerated gesture, points to his own feet, then sweeps his hand across the ground, mimicking, digging. He then points to a basket of roots, then back to you, raising an eyebrow. It's a pantomime, clear and immediate. You taste the faint, earthy sweetness of roasted root that he hands you, a peace offering, its warmth, a soothing contrast to the earlier sting of confusion. It's a simple gesture, yet it radiates a profound understanding, transcending any language barrier. You mimic his gesture, pointing to a different, less exotic item, then to yourself, then to the fruit he'd offered before, trying to ask about its cost. He laughs again, a lighter, more inclusive sound this time, and then uses his fingers to show a number, a series of quick, practiced movements. It's a new kind of interaction, based not on shared words but on shared intent, on the universal language of human give and take. The sounds of the market, once a bewildering cacophony, now blend into a vibrant, almost comforting background, a testament to its living, breathing rhythm. As the sun, still a strange jade and crimson mix, begins its slow descent, painting the market in long dancing shadows, you find yourself gesturing, smiling, even laughing along with the merchant, his boisterous good humor infectious. You're learning, not just customs, but a way of asterisk being in this place. You point to a pattern on his tunic, and he shows you the intricate weaving technique with pride, his calloused fingers demonstrating the delicate work. He doesn't know your language, you don't know his, but in the shared moment of simple exchange, of curiosity and teaching, a connection blossoms. And as the last of the day's light fades, leaving the market illuminated by the soft glow of myriad small lamps, you realize that true strength isn't about perfectly understanding every custom or speaking every tongue. Sometimes, it's found in the profound vulnerability of confusion and the courageous persistence of reaching out, finding common ground where there seems to be none. This journey across time isn't just about experiencing different eras. It's about discovering that the deepest, most resilient threads of humanity, laughter, shared understanding, and the simple act of connection, are woven through every age, forming a universal language that transcends all boundaries, forever bridging the seemingly infinite expanse of time itself. The air around you is neither cold nor warm, but perfectly still, carrying a faint, clean scent, like the edge of a forgotten dream. There's no distinct sound, only a low, persistent hush, like the distant, continuous whisper of a massive, unseen river flowing endlessly through an infinite space. You feel a gentle, almost imperceptible current beneath you, a soft, guiding pull that suggests movement without friction, progress without effort. You are not standing on solid ground, but gracefully suspended, drifting above a shimmering, flowing expanse of pure light. This isn't water, nor energy. It's the very fabric of time itself, a kaleidoscopic river of moments and eras, flowing serenely into an unfathomable distance. As you drift along its surface, you see not reflections, but vivid, ethereal echoes, a flash of a warrior in polished armor, then the quiet hearth of a primitive clan, followed by the blinding glow of a sky city in its final, terrifying moments. They are fleeting, vibrant images, like memories made manifest, swirling and reforming in the currents of light below you. You reach out, your fingers passing through the shimmering flow without resistance, yet you feel a profound connection, a subtle resonance with each passing echo. You taste the faint, metallic tang of battle from one image, then the sweet, earthy aroma of a burgeoning harvest from another. A distant, muted clang of steel gives way to the soft, shared laughter of a festival, then the chilling, mechanical whine of a ruined future. These are not mere pictures. They are sensations, emotions, compressed and intertwined, flowing past your awareness like fragments of a vast, interconnected dream. You see faces in the current, countless expressions of joy and sorrow, fear and triumph, all blurring into a single, profound testament to human experience. A child's innocent smile, a soldier's grim resolve, an artisan's quiet pride. Each is a single, precious drop in this boundless river. You catch a glimpse of your own journey, your own struggles, your own small moments of connection, appearing as fleeting, yet undeniable, echoes within the grand tapestry. The sensation is both humbling and exhilarating, a profound sense of belonging to something immeasurably vast and eternal. The silence here is not empty, but pregnant with meaning. each passing echo a silent narrative, a chapter in a story that began before you and will continue long after. The gentle current continues its unwavering pull, guiding you, effortless, through the unfolding panorama of existence. There is no destination in sight, only the continuous, majestic flow of moments, each a distinct ripple in the infinite. And as you drift, enveloped by the luminous current and the boundless whisper of the river of time, you realize that life isn't a linear path, but a cyclical journey, a continuous dance between past, present, and future. The greatest strength, you understand, isn't about controlling the flow, but in recognizing your own place within it, in embracing the profound beauty of every echo, every battle, every love, every triumph, every despair, and carrying their collective wisdom within your very soul. For in this eternal river, you are not just a traveler, you are a living, breathing testament to the enduring, interconnected narrative of all that has ever been, and all that might yet become. The boundless, absolute silence of the cosmic void shifts, subtly. It no longer feels like an echo of past events, but a profound, expectant quiet, pregnant with untold possibilities. You feel a new, gentle warmth begin to bloom within you, a soft glow that pushes against the ethereal coolness of the void, a warmth that feels like nascent energy, like the first spark of creation. The air, still clean and ethereal, now carries a faint, almost sweet tang, like morning dew on a hidden sprout, a scent of promise. You are still drifting, effortlessly, along the shimmering river of light, the very fabric of time. But now, the kaleidoscopic current below you is different. The vivid, ethereal echoes of past battles and loves, triumphs, and despairs begin to intersperse with entirely new forms. You see faint, indistinct patterns emerge from the swirling light, tendrils of emerald green pushing through barren ash, shimmering outlines of structures yet unbuilt, faces yet to be born, their expressions etched with a quiet, hopeful determination. These aren't solid memories. They are fluid, evolving potentials, whispers of a future constantly reshaping itself, a continuous dance of change. You reach out, not to touch an echo, but to feel the current itself. Your fingers pass through the luminous flow, and this time, you feel a subtle, invigorating pulse, a vibrant thrum that resonates deep within your own core, a quiet affirmation of life's perpetual motion. You taste the faint sweetness of new beginnings, feel the subtle brush of unseen winds carrying the promise of distant dawns. The continuous whisper of the massive, unseen river now sounds less like a lament and more like a ceaseless song of enduring transformation, a powerful, rhythmic beat that guides all things. The old man, a steadfast anchor amidst the ceaseless flow, remains seated on his overturned bucket. But his ancient eyes, which once held the quiet wisdom of countless ages, now gleam with a faint, almost imperceptible spark. He offers a slight, knowing nod, a subtle tilt of his head that feels like a profound blessing, a silent acknowledgement of the strength you carry, the potential you embody. His presence no longer just observes, it affirms, it encourages, a quiet transmission of unwavering faith in the journey ahead, whatever form it may take. You feel a profound, quiet surge of energy, a fresh wellspring of resolve, bubbling up within you. You watch as a particularly vivid image forms in the current below. A single, tenacious seedling pushing its way through cracked earth, its tiny leaves unfurling towards an unseen sun. It's a fleeting moment, gone in an instant, yet its impression lingers, a powerful symbol of rebirth. The overwhelming scale of the cosmos, which once made your physical form feel impossibly small, now seems to cradle you, to empower you, reminding you of the incredible, resilient spark of life within. And as you continue to drift, your inner warmth growing, surrounded by the evolving, hopeful panorama of the river of time, you realize that enduring hope isn't a passive waiting, but an active internal force, a stubborn, unbroken spirit that finds strength even in the face of infinite change. This eternal dance, you understand, is not about finding a final destination, but about embracing the continuous becoming, the endless cycle of death and rebirth. The greatest strength you discover is not to resist the flow of time, but to carry the seed of tomorrow within you, to be a living, breathing testament to life's relentless capacity for renewal, forever a part of the magnificent, never-ending story of existence, actively shaping and being shaped by the eternal dance of change.